Mangalorian, where myself and Jordan the Dragon Lee go back and go through the entire Dragon Ball manga from beginning to end, the original masterwork of Toriyama. And we have a treat for you this week because Volume 7 is not only continuing the story of Dragon Ball, the masterwork of Toriyama, but also has a tie-in to Toriyama's previous masterwork, which we're going to talk more about as we go through. We hope that you're having a good day today. I see y'all in the chat right here. These are little streams. Welcome Troy Hellberg to the membership side of things. And I'm very excited to bring this chapter to you. When we last left off, we were in the underwater pirate cave section of the story. Goku, Krillin, Bulma down there. General Blue's with them. We saw some combat. Now we're going to go to Penguin Village and we'll discuss it more. Jordan, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Doing great. I had a rough weekend, but I'm feeling a lot better. I got to rest yesterday, so.
Yes, well, it was an okay weekend. I can't complain, but
I was helping run a giant rock show, bro.
That sounds like something you would do.
Yeah.
How giant was it, though?
Pretty big. There's a band. I don't know if you ever heard the band Rehab. They sing that bartender song that comes on the radio all the time.
Never heard of it. Never even been to Rehab. So there you go. But go ahead.
But they were like the headliner, and there was a few other like rock bands and stuff there. But I was a sound guy for part of the show, and also I was in charge of helping set up everything. And those speakers are heavy, bro.
Okay, I have to address something real quick. This guy, Four Wheel Gunner, are you going to call this guy Beta 2? Listen, bro, I'm just going to put it to you like this. Whatever he said, he's not telling you the entire story. And I'm just going to say this, bro. You should ask him why I called him Beta. Because I did call him Beta. You should ask him why I called him Beta and see if he tells you the real story, because he won't. I'm not going to go into this shit because that's drama. But if you bring it up again, I'm banning you from the channel, dude, because we don't do drama on this channel. Maybe you should think that there's maybe two sides to every story, and there's a reason why people aren't friends with him anymore. Think real hard as to why people are not friends with him anymore. I don't want to address it because I stepped away respectfully, and he shouldn't be talking about me in his Discord. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully you understand. I'm not doing drama, dog. I'm not. Okay? I'm not. Let's talk about Volume 7 of Dragon Ball. So it's called Chapter 79 we're going to start with. It's called Run, Run, Run. And continuing on with the story, we've got a situation. Yes, thank you, Santa Celine, for being here. Let me actually get this super chat real quick out of the way. John Leone says, I can't open the torrent file you sent. What app do you use to open it? Amazing that somebody would actually say this on a stream. Why didn't you just email me? Why didn't you just email me the question? So here's the thing, bro. I'm not going to talk about that on here. Look it up, YouTube, and say, how do I use torrents? And there's a video that'll help you. He says, he ain't saying anything. I get it. Two sides. It was just random in that video. What video? See, I don't even know what video you're talking about. All I know is that when I stepped away from our friendship, bro, it was a respectfully stepping away. I didn't want to deal with his shit anymore. And there's a lot that I could say to embarrass him, but I'm not going to do it because I want this to be a clean break. So please stop coming in here asking me why. Yes, I did call him Beta because he was behaving like one. End of story. End of story. Let's get to Dragon Ball. So, God, it's so annoying, dude. I have to. This is the second guy this guy's brought this up. The second time he's brought it up to me, bro. Jordan, I'll talk to you about it afterward.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't know what video you're talking about, dude. Email me the video because I don't watch content from other people that much. But I do watch content from Jordan, whose recent video hit 35,000 views. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude, I'm so happy about that.
Yeah. Make sure you
Thanks
check
for the
out
plug,
Jordan.
man. Go check out my channel. And also, just if you subscribe to my Twitter or follow me on Twitter, I'm actually in the works with another artist. We're making a love letter to Toriyama. We're doing a one-shot manga. It's like an unofficial sequel to the Cashman manga, but it's also got a lot of really cool like Toriyama Easter eggs and stuff like that. So follow me on Twitter, and you'll get to keep up to date on that too.
Yeah, Yeah, check out Jordan's channel. Underrated content. He's like the only guy really covering stuff like that. You know what I mean? I try to go deep. He sometimes goes a little bit deeper. Pause. Alice said drama, Dragon Ball first, drama later. No, drama never, bro. This is not a drama channel. Like, that's all personal shit behind the scenes shit that doesn't matter, bro. I'm here to talk about Dragon Ball. So this part right here, if you have a phobia of drowning, this part's kind of hard to read because they're underwater. But Jordan, can you remember another time in Dragon Ball where they're underwater for this long? Because I can't.
No, not this long. I mean, there is that little stint in the anime, like that's really, really long where Goku's underwater. But other than that, in the manga, no.
Yeah, no, I can't either. Obviously, later on in the series, when Goku gets really strong, the part where he fights Beerus under the little estuary place in the cave, and he powers out of it. Like, Goku gets so strong at one point that none of this matters.
This guy Joseph said, I have a phobia of swimming. Please get over that, bro. For your own survival, please get over that. It drives me nuts that my son is a little bit scared to, like, get into swimming, and my daughter, and like it's such an important survival skill. So please do everything you can to get over that.
Yeah, it is a good thing you should learn. For sure, for sure, for sure. All right. And then Wisco Dipper says, do you like the Taco Bell nacho fries? I don't eat that kind of food anymore, bro. Like, very, very, very rarely. I've never tried the nacho fries, so I can't comment. And then, okay, so let's move on. I love how Goku uses the Kamehameha right here as a projectile move, like a rocket boost. I love that, and I've always felt he does it multiple times in Dragon Ball. He does it a couple times in the fight with like in the tournament fights, but it's not just a move that can be used to hurt somebody else. Before Goku knew how to fly and mastered the Bukujutsu, this was his way of propelling himself to different places. Remember, when he fights Tenshin Han, and we're going to talk about it when we get to it in the chapter, they're both coming down, right? And then Goku fires a blast to give himself a boost to hit Tenshin Han. Then they both go down. I always liked, the thing I like about early Dragon Ball is that they don't fly, so it's more of a challenge to beat your opponent. Now, I'm not saying I don't like the flying, but I'm saying, like, it's a different vibe. It's more realistic and it's more grounded, literally.
Well, it gave Toriyama an opportunity to be more creative with the Kamehameha, like he can be creative with the concept itself. Once you can fly, all that stuff's over with. But yes, I appreciate it greatly too. And it's creative for a bunch of different reasons. I mean, chi is actually like a form of energy in Toriyama's comics. So Goku is literally serving as a propeller, like very, very literally, like in this sense, and it's awesome. He's made their ship into like a rocket ship,
Yeah, John Leone said didn't mean to call it a stir up. It's not really a stir up, bro. It's just that those type of questions stop the stream, and we want to keep the stream going with this.
Right.
We want to keep the stream going with this discussion. What you're basically asking me to do you a favor, which I don't mind doing for you, but that's like, it's sort of like if I'm on stage singing and somebody comes over and taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, you owe me $50." But I'm in the middle of something. Like, can we wait? Like, that's kind of my mentality on all that. Email me, dude. If you've got direct access to me via email, now I appreciate the donation. Don't get me wrong. And to be honest, you should donate more considering I'm giving you the manga. But in the meantime, don't worry about it. I'm not upset. It's just one of those things that you have to you have my email. So that's where those kind of matters get resolved. Anything like that's one-on-one is there, not so much here. So they get out of the water. I love it. King Tone is right there to catch them. This is like a scene right out of a movie, dude. I love it. And if we zoom in a little bit, bro, we got the classic Blue coming up out of the water, smirking, dude.
Creepy. Like creepy General Blue, bro.
Well, he's always been creepy, but yeah.
The thing is like he's supposed to be like this, Bulma makes him seem like this like really good looking guy, but then other times you see this side of him that's just like ugly, like very creepy and ugly. I like it.
Yeah, and by the way, before anybody gets mad at Jordan, it has nothing to do with him being gay. Just because there's a lot of people, you know how people are, Jordan. They take
Yeah,
things
it
out
has
of
nothing to do with
context.
that. It was just his facial expression.
His facial expression. He's
Yeah.
stalking them, bro. He's stalking them.
I mean, he is evil. He's a villain, guys.
Yeah,
It has nothing to
yeah,
do with him being, no.
yeah. But I'm just saying because people,
Yeah,
you know how it is.
I appreciate you having my back.
Yeah. No, 'cause I know you're not. You don't have any phobia at all. Well, you might have a phobia, but I'm dub phobic, bro. I don't want to be around dubbies. No, I'm kidding. I'm around them all the time, bro. The idea is to convert them over to geekdomism, bro. Geekdomism. I had a guy on Twitter. I saw it, and it was kind of a funny meme, but it's a dub meme where the guy said, "I don't understand how Tien's tri-beam is a square shape," and I'm like, because it's not a triangle. This is more of like a square if you turn it this way, and it's not called a tri-beam in Japan. That if you know, so if you go into Dragon Ball, right, and you know it's not called a tri-beam, that shit will never bother you. But I understand how dub fans can look at that and be confused. That's what happens when you fucking change everything. That's what happens when Barry Watson decides to change everything and make stupid changes. It confuses people.
I think the original interpretation is just completely lost on most fans, and it is a shame. It really is.
This is why we try to get people to read the manga and watch it in Japanese. All it does is clear up your confusion.
Yep, that's right.
I've had people say stuff like, and this is not me putting myself over, but I've heard myself, people like Lance, and they say things like, no, he does not make a triangle shape, bro. Look, that's not a triangle, bro. Look, that's the shape he meant, the square, bro. That is not a triangle. You have to turn it sideways. It looks like one because you're thinking this, right? This is the triangle, but he goes more like this. So the point is that
it's a diamond. It's a diamond until it's upside down.
Right. Yeah. Like Rock La Familia. DDP. But people have asked all the time, and this is not me putting myself over because Lance gets it. Jordan, you get it. Like, how do you know so much about Dragon Ball? Because we don't watch the dub. Like, literally, that's part. And there's also like, critical thinking, but that's a big part of it, dude. The dub has censored so much stuff. Dragon Ball fans grew up on a homogenized version of the show, especially Z, At least with Dragon Ball, they do make some dumb changes here and there. Most of the censorship, though, has to do with nudity and sex jokes, which I do understand, especially for back then. Anime now isn't even treated that way. Chapter 80, the 3 stolen Dragon Balls. So I love that shot of General Blue on the motorcycle. Again, Toriyama loves his vehicles. If you want to submit super chats or whatever, feel free to do so, and we'll answer the questions. So we have Blue on the island, and then what happens is Lunch, the only other person with firearms, leaves. So okay, this is a question for later, or a discussion for later. But Diddley Squad says, if you notice, Tenshin Han changes the hand gesture depending on what he needs, and shape of the hole also changes. In an instant, he puts the hands on top of each other instead of left and right. Correct. That's why it's not tri-beam. It's never been a tri-beam. I think, Jordan, don't some of the games call it the Ki Blast Cannon? I'm sure somebody in the chat knows that.
Yeah. Life energy cannon or something like that. There's a bunch of different terms for it, but essentially the idea is that instead of it being like the Kamehameha where he's creating chi, he's basically using his environment to create a chi blast.
And his own life force.
Yeah, TN is using his life force in a way that drains him. It actually kills him in comparison. It's a more powerful attack, but he's actually he's actually generating chi from himself, and that's really not that the Kamehameha doesn't also drain Goku, but
it's different. It's not life energy.
TN's technique is very, very different in that sense, and it's more potent due to that as well.
Gabriel Lekay, is the Dr. Slump manga good? We're going to talk more about that shortly, so just bear with me, because Green Fox also says Arale's in the thumbnail. We're going to get to Slump actually shortly. Well, I did want to say, too, I do have a technique guide coming out later this year, probably, about Tien's tri-beam, a.k.a. the Kikoho, and that's going to go into explicit detail about everything that's surrounding that technique. And we're going to be discussing in that video the difference, because there's two variations. If you remember in the video games, it's Tri-Beam and Neo Tri-Beam. That's because in Japan, it's Kikoho and Shin Kikoho, and they're actually different moves. They're similar, but there's a major difference between the two, and we're going to be discussing that in the video probably later this year. So I like that technique, bro. They built it up pretty well. So General Blue, this is a classic scene from the anime that I vividly remember, but this is Toriyama's like original, obviously the original thing, where he jumps out of his helicopter. He's sneaking around Kame House, one of the only villains to actually make it to Kame House. In the anime, we saw more of this, especially in some of the Dragon Ball movies, because in at least two of the movies, they go to the Kame House. But in the anime, in the manga, how many times are they in the Kame House? Not like once, twice, maybe. I'm talking about villains like showing up there. Yeah, it's rare.
And I think this is a really cool way to like implement the characters that hang out at the Kame House all the time too, because most of the time they are just hanging out there. They don't go out and get any of the action. So having the action brought to them was really cool. Like, I like seeing that.
And I also like this right here. So what General Blue does, he pulls out some rope and then he ties up. No, I don't think Senzu works on HIV, bro. Probably not. Money works according to fucking South Park. But check it out. So General Blue ties them all up with rope. Now,
yeah, and this actually happened in Journey to the West. I know that's silly, but like this,
elaborate.
Like, there is actually like a magical rope that's like really hard for Wukong to break. It's like and it's made of diamond, and that's actually how they end up capturing him and bringing him to heaven to try and destroy him. Is they use a magical rope that tightens and around him, and it's made out of diamond. And it's also something that happens multiple times in Journey to the West as they're like traveling. All of the characters will get tied up to like, a tree or like a wooden post or just left laying on the ground or something like that. It's something that's like, you could tell that Toriyama's like reusing that trope here.
And that's why you're here, bro, because that's something I never knew. Now, I did know it was magic rope. That's something we do have to clarify. If it was regular rope, there's no way people like Goku, Krillin, and Roshi would let that stop them because they're so strong. They can ignite their energy and burn the rope off, literally. It doesn't do shit. He's in the call right now. Or not the call, the chat. But anyways, magic rope, different story. And I didn't even know it was from Journey to the West.
Yep.
So let's see here. So basically what happens is Blue steals the Dragon Balls. Straight up. Like there's not really much else to be said. He steals the Dragon Balls, has his ship, and dips. Meanwhile, Lunch returns. How convenient is it that she leaves, Blue does his shit, and then she comes back. Yeah, right when he leaves, and of course she ends up being the one to untie them. And I don't know if you call that lazy writing. I think that's more of the comedic style, like, hey guys, what did I miss type of thing.
Well, Dragon Ball kind of has an excuse for it because if you look at it the right way, this is Goku's past good actions rewarding him. Because if you remember, all the way back a few episodes ago, whenever Krillin and Goku were flying over launch, Krillin asked Goku, or Goku asked Krillin, should we save her? And Krillin was like, no, we shouldn't worry about it. And Goku was like, no, I'm going to save her because I want to. So if you look at it the right way, it's good karma for Goku.
Right. I love this panel right here that I've highlighted. Goku is free. He's getting on the Keen-Tone to go chase after Blue. Now we're going to get to some interesting stuff. So Goku catches up to him. Right? Yeah. I found you. And then literally chapter 81 completely takes a left turn, a right turn, whatever turn, and jumps into Penguin Village. We don't even get it. Like literally right here, chapter 81, chase to Penguin Village. And here we are. Now, let's talk a little bit about Dr. Slump. We need to get this out of the way. First of all
right.
Dr. Slump was Toriyama's first long-running successful manga before Dragon Ball. before Toriyama ever even started Dragon Ball, he did Dr. Slump, and he got rich off of just Dr. Slump. There's a YouTuber who I won't name because I'm not starting drama, who made a video years ago about Toriyama and got everything wrong, including the fact that, well, he didn't get rich until the 90s. Bullshit. Toriyama was a multimillionaire before he even started Dragon Ball. All Dragon Ball did is just add to his pocket.
As a matter of fact, he was so rich and successful that by the time he was basically done with Dr. Slump, like people were praising him and following him and stalking him and basically treating him like a god. There's a reason he was such a private person.
The
like
wedding story.
Yeah, he had reporters like invading his wedding. Like he was trying to have just like a happy day, like, you know, a normal happy wedding, and all of a sudden, like he's essentially one of the most rich and successful people in Japan at that time.
Not just that, but I do think he's also kind of an introvert.
Yeah.
You can tell because if you look into how Toriyama met his wife, his behavior around women is he's kind of does the shy thing, but he's funny. And so that type of guy doesn't always work for every chick, but for him, it works because he was charming, but he wasn't like a big bombastic guy. Now we got to get something else out of the way too. Dr. Slump does not take place in the world of Dragon Ball. Dr. Slump is an episodic manga, meaning unlike Dragon Ball where the story is continuous, Dr. Slump does have an overarching plot, but you can actually skip a couple of episodes. Not the important ones. Yeah, right. Because a lot of them are just goofy comedy. If you like Toriyama's comedy, you will like Dr. Slump because let me tell you, he pushes it. You have little kids smoking cigarettes. You've got sex jokes being made. It's like all the crude humor in Dragon Ball times 50. Well, Senbei, the main character, is a legitimate pervert, but he's also in love with, you know, who ends up being his wife. Go ahead.
Well, another skill I think you pick up on as someone who reads Dragon Ball, if you read Dr. Slump, is you start to understand how Toriyama uses other characters from other media subtly in his own media, because part of what made Dr. Slump such a success was the parodies of multiple characters that he used throughout Dr. Slump's run, like Superman and tons of others. Like there's a bunch of, like, he even made a reference to alien. Spock. He even made a reference to Spock from Star Trek, like, and Godzilla and tons of other characters. So like once you establish that was part of Toriyama's technique at that time, you can kind of see why he continued that bled over to Dragon Ball in a lot of ways. Like he'll make subtle nods to other media. Like we all know for a fact that, you know, the Cell Saga, for example, is very heavily Terminator oriented, and Toriyama established that as a technique during the Dr. Slump era, way prior to Dragon Ball. So.
Yes, but right. And the thing is, if you're wondering, okay, why is this even a thing? Like, why is this crossover happening? You have to understand that during this era, we're going back to the mid 80s, Dragon Ball was still ongoing. It wasn't the cultural phenomenon it would become. It wasn't part of Japanese culture yet. It wasn't what it became. It didn't even come out in America for another decade, literally. Other than the Harmony Gold dub. Like, nobody knew what the fuck Dragon Ball was. It was just a manga series. And the reason as to why I'm saying that is because Dr. Slump at this time was already established. Dr. Slump was famous. Dr. Slump was like basically like Mickey Mouse over there to a degree. More like Doraemon is, but Slump was up there, right? Slump, I like to say, is like the Simpsons of Japan, except unlike the Simpsons, it ended before it got stupid. At least Slump kept being funny all the way through. But check it out. So during this time, Toriyama felt like if I bring back Arale and bring back the Slump characters, it might bring in some of the Slump fans that haven't tried Dragon Ball. And it worked because the crossover exists. But I got to get this out of the way, dude. Dr. Slump does not exist in the world of Dragon Ball. And I'm going to tell you why. If you read Dr. Slump, which I'm assuming many of you have not. And that's okay. I think you should seek it out just so you can read more and have a good. It is funny. But listen, in Dr. Slump, it takes place in Japan. They travel to America. They travel to Europe. They go to Paris. They go to Egypt. Real places that exist in the real world are in Dr. Slump. That's not Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has its own made-up world. It's an alternate version of Earth, different continents, different everything, right? It can't take place in the same world. Therefore, the prevailing theory is that Goku and General Blue went through some kind of time portal or some kind of like cross-dimensional portal, like what's in the Langoliers, for example. There's a reference. And that's how they got to Penguin Village. However, what's interesting is Penguin Village knows about Red Ribbon. So either there's a Red Ribbon army in their world, or this is an alternate universe Penguin Village, because they're not supposed to be in the same world. But the real answer to this, guys, is don't overthink it. It's just supposed to be played up for comedy. So many people ask questions all the time about, like, why doesn't this make sense? Why doesn't that make sense? And sometimes we have answers. But at this point, Toriyama wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, my favorite, and I have to bring this up because I just think it's wacky and it's super funny. My favorite and the wackiest theory I've ever heard is the idea that when Arale went back in the time slipper, that she stopped the meteors from landing on the Earth and saved the dinosaurs from going extinct, while also preventing Earth from becoming split from Pangea.
And that made a split timeline.
Yeah, essentially, like this is the Arale that came back from doing that with the time slipper, and when she came back, instead of the continents being split, they're one giant continent, and that's the Dragon Ball world. I just think I know that's not true, but I just think that's a really wacky and cool theory.
I actually like that theory a lot. People put some thought into it. You know how I feel about theories in this fandom, bro. Most of them are stupid. All right, Justin Sullivan, did you hear that DreamWorks making Shrek 5? I did not. And it's no different than Toy Story. That shit should have ended with 3. 4, Toy Story 4 was fine, but it's the same reason everything else gets sequels, bro. Money. K Cruiser says, do you think the anime changed Bulma's hair to turquoise blue-green because of Arale's purple hair? I don't think so. I actually hadn't heard that before. What do you think?
I doubt it. Toriyama has said himself he's not very particular about colors. I think more than anything, Toriyama just uses whatever colors he wants at the time. And I think the anime staff are the same way. I don't think they're as particular about colors due to the fact that Toriyama isn't. They really have no motivation to be. So
Justin Sullivan says, another thing is that I was still reading the Dragon Ball Z manga, well, it's Dragon Ball manga, and got to when Cell achieved perfect form. Good. Great. We're going to get there at some point. We're doing the entire manga all the way to Majin Buu, all the way to that. Gabriel says, what about Arale's appearance in Super? Same thing, bro. Don't overthink it. That's a gag episode. That is a gag episode. The
Uwu-verse is a very funny term, bro.
What is the Uwu-verse?
He did it by accident, but it's a funny term.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just funny.
I've never heard that before. Is that a One Piece thing?
He said it was a mistake.
Who was it? What was the mistake? The Uwu-verse?
Yeah, he meant to put universe.
But who wrote that? Toriyama?
No, down here in the chat, bro.
No, but I've heard the term Uwu-verse. I just don't know where it started.
I've never heard it, bro.
Kuruma says, set the programmer and other power scalers use Arale to scale Goku. Well, you can do that, but you have to keep in mind that Arale is a gag character.
Yeah, that's not a good way to scale anybody.
All right, how about this one, bro? I think Arale only ever appeared in filler episodes. Am I correct about that? Time out. What are you seeing on your screen right now?
Oh, no.
It's actually kind of like this man just asked if Arale's only been in filler when we are literally looking at fucking Dr. Slump characters in the manga?
Anyway, so
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep going on that.
we
So
we, we could see a lot of like classic. If you're a Dr. Slump fan, you could see all the classic Dr. Slump cast here. You can see like the inspiration for like that character right there. People always compare him to Yamcha or like Goten, like in Dragon Ball Superhero and stuff like that.
this is the
And
Toriyama design.
and he is like the stereotypical martial arts protagonist design that Toriyama does tend to use, but you know, I think that's cool. I think that's a cool aesthetic, and I understand why Toriyama reuses it so often because it works, you know. But
This guy just asked, but I meant the show, not the manga. Jordan, do you want to explain to this guy what filler actually is? I'll let you do it so I don't fucking go down this guy's throat. Go ahead, bro.
So filler is anything that does not take place in the manga. So there you go.
This is one of those guys that's been reading Facebook pages and Instagram and getting his information from there, bro. And that sucks because a lot of people
it's just hot. Maybe just the heat's just getting to his brain.
I don't know, but well, how do you explain the winter questions? No, but check it out. So people who are, and this actually angers me. People have asked, why is this even going on? Why do they have this crossover? I've already explained, because Dr. Slump was super popular. It's not for you. When Toriyama drew this manga, he drew it for the people in Japan. Dragon Ball has never been made for Americans. It's made by a Japanese man from a Japanese comic book company for a Japanese audience. We happen to get translations. We happen to get the show and the manga, right? But people often ask questions about why certain things are in the series.
It's because this isn't your culture. That's why.
That's right. And that's why it helps to learn about the Japanese culture, like what we are doing here on the Mangalorian, so that way people can like understand, at the very least, even if you don't get it, you understand. An example of this, when I did my video about the Super Saiyan tingly back. Oh, you're just making excuses. No, you're just a dumb fuck American who doesn't want to look outside of the culture to understand that the tingly back thing is something that the Asians grew up knowing about. You have to remember, this is not for Americans. But the good news is that English speakers, Americans, Australians, Europeans, whatever, can still appreciate and enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's Arale, bro. There's the filler character Arale, bro. There she is, bro. She's only in filler, bro. So anyways, here it is right here. Now, this whole chapter is just Dr. Slump. This entire chapter has no Goku in it. So there's a trivia question for you guys. If somebody ever asks which Dragon Ball chapter, what was the first Dragon Ball chapter to have no Goku? Chapter 81. It's just Dr. Slump. Then we pick up with Goku, and I'm sorry, chapter 80. Chapter 81, now we're back to Goku, and this is the part where in the anime they went through that mystery portal, which I may do a whole video on. So now Goku's on the chase for True General Blue, and then they end up in Penguin Village. Now, again, if people are asking, should I read Dr. Slump? Absolutely. If you like comedy, if you like Toriyama's comedy, and you just want to read more Toriyama, that's the big series that got him over. Toriyama, what people don't seem to understand about Dragon Ball, and this goes for Z, GT, Super, and Daima, because Jordan, I've gotten this question a lot lately, and once again, it's people who are ignorant, culturally ignorant. People say, like, for example, granola's a stupid name, as opposed to carrot, as opposed to vegetable. They're all stupid names. That's the point. Like, Toriyama is at heart a comedy writer. That's what he is.
Yep.
And everything in Dragon Ball's comedy, even the serious shit, even like the darkest story in Dragon Ball, which is probably what the future Trunks thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even that, like, yes, it's dark. It's probably the darkest thing Toriyama ever wrote.
Yeah.
but surrounding that is still comedy. It's still, you know, it's still written by a gag manga writer.
Right.
Why are you always making fun of your own fans? I'm not making fun of my own fans. I'm explaining shit to them. Maybe you shouldn't be such a snowflake and fucking understand that I'm explaining shit to them. That's a snowflake question right there, bro.
Yeah,
That's a very
pointing out
question.
that, you know, we're reading something that somebody's asking about being filler is not making fun of them. It's literally just calling out an objective mistake. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
those are two very different things. The idea that that's like calling into question someone's character completely is just absolutely stunning and just crazy.
That's what
You know,
happens when you have people who are sensitive like this Vindel Mays dude or whatever. He's very
yeah,
sensitive, bro. He's very sensitive, dude. You want to know something, Vindel? I have gotten death threats. I've gotten all kinds of shit on this internet shit. Much, much worse than fucking anything I've ever said. I've never threatened somebody to die or anything like that, or gone after someone's family. It's not that serious, bro. Like if you want to be my friend, if you want to be my friend, and Lord knows all of my friends have suffered through this, I'm going to pick on you. I pick on Jordan all the fucking time. Am I right?
you do. That's right.
And if you're a pussy, you can't be my friend.
Right.
So if you want, people who watch YouTubers always want to like, oh, I want to feel like I'm their friend. That's being my friend. I mean, how many times have I gone on Twitch and been like, I talk about sex and I'm like, I know most of you have never experienced it. That's not supposed to be taken seriously, bro. Like,
Yeah, he's just joking. He would say the same thing to you if you were his best friend sitting right next to him.
And I have.
That's how it is. Yeah.
And I have. And I have. Everybody,
Yeah.
dude. Daisy, Tex has put up with my shit for fucking 25 years almost. Like, that's literally just people get stupid nicknames in the Discord. Like, I am not the YouTuber who's gonna suck dick, bro. That's never been me, bro. Look, there's a lot of guys on this platform. There's a lot of guys on this platform that you think are nice guys and are actually assholes. I'm not going to name no names, but there's a lot of YouTubers, dude, who come off super nice and kiss ass who are actually vile fucking people, dude. And I've gotten to know a few of them. I'm just letting you know, man. It is what it is. So, fucking again, I love these panels here of Goku in the skies and fucking, you know.
Yeah, you know, Toriyama was loving the idea of Goku chasing down a ship and trying to destroy it with the Nyoibo.
Not
He
just
was
that,
loving
but
that.
what I love, bro, is bro, I love this man's art, dude. What a talent. So check out down here.
You know
Look
what
at
that reminds me
the
of?
backgrounds, bro. The backgrounds. It looks like a video game.
That background right there. Whenever I was in kindergarten, I think they had like this carpet that had like roads on it that you could
I
like put
think I know what you're talking about, dude.
That's what that reminds me of.
And it was the same colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen that before. No,
Yeah.
but it's cool because, like, look at how Toriyama draws. Like, I'm trying to zoom in so y'all see the clear picture. He draws the roads and the houses. Like, you could just sit here and just look at
The scenery, yeah.
yeah, the scenery. Wizco Dipper. We're not talking about drama, dude. I already said that earlier. I'm not talking about EDP we're not talking about that shit, bro. That's not what this stream's about. I know some people seem to love drama, bro. I turned 40 this year. I'm way too old for that childish shit. So Goku here, Blue uses the back rocket to blast him. Again, all these panels, bro, are so good. The fact that they're not just squares. Toyotaro's bitch ass always has the same basic fucking squares, bro. This man's doing fucking all types of different shapes and shit, bro, and I like it. And then I love how he looks back like, ha, I got him. And then here, oh, this is good shit, bro. Here, the Toriyama comedy, but awesome. The Rock is coming. He freaks out and smashes into the fucking mountain, bro.
Yeah, it does look really great. It looks better when it's in the right format, when it's in manga format, because, you know, the two pages together are a work of art in their own. But yes, it looks awesome. It always has.
It's a mean 94. He's talking about how I was going off on somebody on a stream once. Yes, but I don't do that much anymore. If you bless you, if you watch the streams from years ago, I would go off on people, but now on stupid questions. Not so much now. I still do it from time to time, but it's rare. It's rare. I went through therapy, bro. I dealt with a lot of my anger issues because I had a lot of anger issues since I was a kid, bro. I had a lot of anger issues. I'm relaxed, bro. We're chilling. And I recommend people, like, if you have issues, go to therapy. It might not be cheap, but it's worth it because it definitely made me a better person. So Goku's coming down, right? Here we have the first meeting of Goku and Arale. But guess what? Blue survived. Of course he did. Now, chapter 82, the Broken
That's a
Dragon
pretty
Raider.
good feat on Blue's part. Like,
Oh, yeah, he's strong, bro.
yeah.
He ain't no bitch. This art right here of Goku and Arale is what we use for the thumbnail, or a version of it, and it's just classic. This was even done on a cover of Dragon Ball. Oh
yeah,
my god.
Toriyama's really trying to throw the inspiration from Arale into Goku, like, because they influence each other in terms of how they're characterized, and he's really like throwing that in your face.
Jordan, I don't know if you remember this. This was brought up by Weird Walking Dead Theory. He says nothing beats the Where is Goten and Trunks in the Saiyan saga. Do you remember that?
Remember. Yes, I do remember that.
That was the closest I came to having literally melted down like the guy from Indiana Jones, bro. I
honestly, like, that would be that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it was so bad that I just didn't know what to say.
Coping with the degradation of society can be a challenge for sure.
What was that thing you taught me about a few weeks ago? Context.
Context blindness.
Context blindness. You teaching me that has actually helped me a lot, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Yeah.
Look how Jack Blue is, bro. At this point, I won't be able to calm down till I choke the life out of him myself, that little shit. That's fucking... Oh, wait, hold on. That's fucking awesome, bro. How can you not like this manga? Hold on.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, my God. I fucked up. I accidentally zoomed... Oh, my God. I accidentally zoomed... There we go. Okay, I'm sorry. I accidentally zoomed down on the wrong screen. But what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, dude. Like, this whole thing is really cool.
It's a good time, bro. So, this is the first ever meeting. Look at that typo right there, bro. Aren't broken. Broeken. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is the first ever meeting with Goku and Arale. Of course, they would reunite in Super. So, that's always good times. Thank you, Weird Walking Dead. And then this guy said, "You're such a nice wink." I don't know what that means, but okay, thank you. Listen, I'm not perfect, bro. I want you to understand, I am not a perfect man. I make mistakes. I sometimes fly off the handle. I'll admit that. I'm man enough to admit, unlike a lot of the phonies on this platform who pretend to be nice, I'm man enough to admit that I have flaws. I'm not a pussy, bro. There's a lot of people, bro. Again, there's a lot of names I could say, but I'm not going to start shit that, oh, he's such a nice guy. He's so nice. But they have a dark side, bro. Everybody on earth has a dark side. Everybody does.
Very true.
Everybody has to struggle with their own issues. Have you started One Piece yet? Not yet. I will later this year, though, I think. But I'm starting with the manga, Volume 1. Let's see how it goes. So Goku finds General Blue's destroyed ship. And here comes Arale. And this is when they meet for the first time. Kind of iconic because this is a genuine Toriyama crossover. And we rarely get these, bro. However, one that I think is underrated, and I think you and I may do a special Mangalorian just on this, because I think one of the ideas I had when we get done with the Toriyama manga, with Dragon Ball, is I don't want to do Super, because that's not Toriyama. That's Toyotaro.
Right. And
we already have reviews on that. But I wanted to do Jocko because that is Toriyama and that is tied into Dragon Ball. And if you look at Jocko, Jocko's actually got a crossover with the other Galactic Control.
And I get to defend Dragon Ball Minus. So, yeah, we can totally do it.
Who would win in a fight, Goten or Kid Trunks? I mean, they fought. Dragon Ball Z episode 212 and 213. There you go, Jordan. I remember the episode numbers, bro. Like we talked about before. Yeah, 212 and 213, bro. You want to see that fight? Dragon Ball Z 212 and 213. And note, I didn't have to look that up because I ain't no poser.
So this right here is kind of a deep cut if you've never read Dr. Slump. So if you'll notice here, General Blue is standing next to a phone booth, and this is actually the phone booth that Superman uses to turn into Superman during his first appearance in Dr. Slump. So
it's like Clark Kent parody.
Yeah, so this is kind of a deep cut if you've never read Dr. Slump. A lot of this stuff is if you haven't read the actual Dr. Slump manga.
Not to mention that Goku himself says, "You're about as fast as Keaton." Wow. So here's a bit of information that many of you might not know. Hold on. Let me get this out of the way. Justin Sullivan with a super chat that isn't even to us. He says, Vindel, you accused Danny of treating his fans like shit, and now you're saying he's nice. Talk about a kiss
Listen,
up. No,
man,
I don't think he's a kiss up, bro.
Look, he might be young too, so just chill out.
He also might not know my sense of humor. Like my sense of humor does not work for everyone. And I've noticed if you're very sensitive, but I've also learned that in society, you have to be careful what you say. And some jokes don't work for everyone. Okay, so here's what I was going to explain to people. Notice how Goku says you're about as fast as King Tone. So this is wild. Goku, going through most of his life, was never as fast as the Nimbus Cloud. The Nimbus Cloud, when it comes to flying, was always super speed until Dragon Ball Z, until the Namek arc. Because remember, Goku used Keaton to get from Kami's palace to the fight with Gohan and Vegeta and Nappa and Krillin and them.
Yeah.
Later, Goku just flies everywhere or teleports. So, there you go.
Sweet.
Diddly Squat. What about the Katsura and Akira short stories? Talking about Toriyama. Probably not. These streams already get like a lower audience, which I'm okay with because it's for the hardcore fans. But I don't think we're going to cover that stuff necessarily. Maybe for fun. But right now, that's not the plan. I think Dragon Ball, Jocko, and maybe Sandland one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Sandland's not really tied to Dragon Ball.
We could probably do Akira Toriyama's manga theater in one session. We could probably read the entire.
I don't know about that because that's a lot of manga.
Like, it is, but I've read it all in a few hours, so
it's this thick. Yeah, but remember we have to go through it too. That's tough. Yeah, that might be, but I don't know. People
maybe a two-parter.
I don't know if folks are going to show up for that. Here's a question: does the King Tone have infinite stamina? It's not really like a living thing. I mean, it's like more of a godly. I would say yes. It doesn't have lungs.
Yeah, it could go on forever, obviously.
And here's Superman, who is called.
You have to understand that Kintoun is a supernatural entity. We actually found out recently, which we didn't really talk about this, but I think it is worth talking about now. But after the Muscle Tower stuff, they actually talk about how there used to be a bunch of Kintoun running around on Earth, because there is one Kintoun for every one pure-hearted being on planet Earth. So
which means there's like three of them then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like they're supernatural entities. They're not just regular like clouds. Like they literally exist as an extension of the existence of a pure-hearted being, which is a cool concept. But yeah, they're not just regular clouds and they're supernatural. I would argue that Kintoun might even be immortal or at least last as long as Goku is on Earth.
Well, it was destroyed at one point, but you're right. It has like infinite life. It's not even like a person.
They do kind of hint around at it having like a personality at certain points in the series, but yeah, it's just an extension of Goku, essentially.
If Turles movie is Vegeta, Cooler is movie Frieza, and Janemba is movie Boo, who would you say movie Cell is? Is it 13, Broly, Hachiak, or Bojack? It's absolutely Android 13. Think about it, bro. Cell needs 2 androids to become perfect. 13 becomes Super 13 by absorbing 2 androids. It's the same idea. He's talking about the fact that movie villains are oftentimes carbon copies of villains from the series, like
Yeah,
Lord
because
Slug is Piccolo.
Toei always thinks they can do things better than Toriyama, and they try to replicate what he did.
Not
And
always, but I know what you mean.
like the thing is like I think Toriyama, as talented as he was, I think that Toei and Koyama and a lot of the staff back then felt like they had a better grasp on what Dragon Ball Z era fans liked in comparison to Toriyama, because Toriyama would always naturally gravitate back towards his roots, right? Whereas like Koyama and the Toei staff, they kept it as high energy and action packed as Toriyama's peak when it comes to that type of content all the time. So they just had a different approach, and they would just like milk whatever Toriyama did last. They would do their own spin on it and make a more serious action packed version of that to appeal to audience and also for promotional material for the manga that was running at the time. So yeah, I mean, there's multiple reasons why they do that. I think that Toei themselves are inspired by a lot of Toriyama's works. I think the Toei staff would see something that Toriyama did, and then they would be inspired to do their own thing. I don't necessarily think that it was like in bad faith. I don't think they were copying him to copy him in a bad faith way. I think more than anything that they were all just trying to be creative together, and they wanted the films to reflect whatever Toriyama was doing at the time.
And to me, that's actually why I appreciate movies like the Hirudegarn movie and the BoJack movie, because those are completely original stories. Like BoJack is a completely original. Now, he's not the best. He's kind of a boring villain, but there's not really a villain in Dragon Ball that's like BoJack and Hirudegarn. Hirudegarn, you got the magic box and Tapion. Like, there was obviously inspiration from Trunks, obviously, like Future Trunks, but it doesn't matter. Like, those are original stories, and to me, those are some of the best Toei movies, the original stories.
So,
Xavier's was destroyed, but didn't go call it back. He had a new one. He got a new cloud. What were you saying?
Junior RDZ04 asks me, "Do you play the drums, Jordan?"
You play everything, right?
I am a multi-instrumentalist. I can play drums slightly, but
he's like Prince, but he has less sex. No, go ahead, bro.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know about. No, you do, bro. We're talking about Prince here.
I am a multi-instrumentalist. I play everything with strings mostly. That's like my preferred avenue of like instruments, like violins, guitars, bass, things of that nature. That's what I prefer to play. But my brother, on the other hand, is a hell of a drummer. He is ridiculously good. And the current drummer that I have in my band, he is also ridiculously good. I've known some like legendary drummers, and I do respect being able to play the drums. I'm just not as good at it as I am playing like the keyboards and the guitars and stuff like that. So.
Cool. Justin Sullivan, will Android 13 absorb 14 and 15's remains? But I see what you mean. He absorbed their energy cells, and he absorbed like the energy producing chips, and he absorbed their microprocessors. That's what mutated him into being Super 13. But it's the same thing as Cell. It's just the same idea, you know. Okay, so here's Superman, yeah, which is a double pun. It's super, but also sour. And the story here is that look at fucking blue. The story here is that okay. So we have to explain?
I loved this in the anime. I like how it plays out here. It's still funny, but I remember being like super hyped to see this part animated. Like I just love this little part where he scares the hell out of Superman. I've always thought it was funny.
Well, we have to sort of explain what Superman is. So Superman is a parody of obviously Superman and Clark Kent, but the joke about Superman is he's basically Mr. Satan before Mr. Satan. He
kind of.
Well, kind of. But what I mean is,
Mr. Satan is more kind-hearted than Superman. I think Superman is legit evil.
I think he's just an asshole, but I wouldn't call him evil.
I think he's legitimately evil. Like he. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that he's like diabolically evil, but I think that he is selfish to a ridiculous degree. Like if something happened, like for example, that one time that he fails to help rob a bank, he helps the robber rob the bank afterwards and then blows up the bank because they bitch at him for not being able to successfully stop the bank robber. So
My
You know what I
favorite
mean?
ever is when Senbei pisses him off and he puts a cockroach in his fucking milkshake. He's so petty. I don't think he's evil. I think he's just a petty asshole.
He blew up the bank though. That's pretty evil, bro.
No, I know it is, but the point is that Superman is like a counterfeit superhero. He pretends like
He's actually kind of a parody of the original Superman from the Golden Age, because the original Superman from the Golden Age was a complete jerk. Like, he was a complete jerk. A lot of people don't know this because they haven't read the comics that far back. But if you didn't give Superman credit as the hero he was, he would throw a little fit back in the Golden Age comics, and that's exactly what Superman does. Anytime you don't give him the credit he thinks he deserves, being a hero of justice or whatever, he will do anything he can to get revenge on you. And that's sort of the trope for his character.
yeah, he is an asshole, but the point about him is that he, like, look at right here. It's time for me to show you my power. He thinks he's smart, but he's actually a pussy, and that goes back to Mr. Satan. Like, I think Mr. Satan's a good guy. I agree with you, but he's also a glory hog and shit, and he's a counterfeit superhero. So Blue, he's over here threatening Blue, and Blue fucking crunches. He's with his bare hands. He bear hugs the fucking.
It's cool because this is what Arale did to Superman too when they first met. Like, she punches a hole and like splits the earth in half, and he just completely freaks out and runs away.
Yeah. Okay. This guy says, Senor Cucaracha going to make me a lot of money. How do you know about that? That's like an inside joke. That's a line from Striptease where Ving Rhames says, Senor Cucaracha is going to make me a lot of money. He put the roach in the fucking strawberry milkshake. All right, let's get to these questions here.
That's Justin, deep cut, dude.
Justin,
super deep cut.
It is a deep cut because that movie, nobody talks about that movie anymore. Justin, you have exposed yourself, my friend. You have exposed yourself without meaning to. He says, oh, crap. I just realized this is the volume where General Blue tries to give that boy the Kevin Spacey treatment. Jordan, explain to him why he's wrong.
No, you explain. I'm not going to explain it. You explain it.
That's only in the anime. That's a Toei thing. That's not in the manga.
Yeah.
General Blue.
If that was in the manga, that would have been extremely controversial.
Yeah, General Blue is only just gay in the manga. In the anime is where he has the pedo Kevin Spacey shit. So you haven't read the manga.
I kind of wanted
and that's okay.
I kind of didn't want to even talk about this at all in the Mangalorian, to be honest.
Well, I don't want to talk about it either. That's why I'm telling them, go watch Red Ribbon Army Explained, because in that video, I literally have a section talking about that.
Yeah, it's
and listen to my interview with Sonny Strait.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Listen to my interview with Sonny Strait, where I literally asked him about it, and I said this is the only dub change that I actually like, because I don't like that scene even in the Japanese version.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that, educating people on the existence of those types of people isn't necessarily a bad thing, but come on,
And here after Blue destroys the phone booth, look at how Superman, well then, what should I do for you now, master? He's a bitch, bro. That's the point. He's a bitch. Yeah. So let me get to this super chat here. Xavier says, for dub, who did you prefer as narrator, Kyle Abear or Doc Morgan? Me, personally, I prefer Doc as the older sounding man telling a story. I also prefer Doc Morgan, but that could be nostalgia. Doc Morgan is the Ocean dub voice actor, the one who has that super deep voice. What's going to happen to Goku? Like, I think that's the one from the Ocean dub. I like that.
It's funny. People give you so much hell for like being anti-dub or whatever, but you know so much about the dubs, bro.
Not just that. Well, people who say I'm anti-dub are stupid. I'm anti-dub script. I've interviewed every dub actor, bro. Every single one.
Yep.
And I'm like the only motherfucker who straight up questioned Sabbath and was like, why did you make so many changes, bro? And then he explained it to me in my interview back in 2016. That's a very good interview. It was in 2016, but I'm proud of it because I'm like the only guy who doesn't kiss their ass, bro. Like all these fucking people that grew up with the dub kiss their ass. And I watched the dub too when I was a kid. I grew up with it as well. But I'm the one who's like, yo, like, this is stupid. And a lot of them
Yeah.
agree. Like, the thing is, every single dub actor I've ever talked to hates Z and likes Kai. And Sabat himself has acknowledged that Z is great for nostalgia for 90s kids, but Kai is the truer dub. And it is. It just
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I've heard Sean talk about how he himself wasn't satisfied with his early depictions of Goku and stuff like that. So
Why did the original Funimation narrator quit Funimation? I asked Kyle Abear that 2 years ago. Go check out my Kyle Abear interview. That's on the channel. Icons of the Dragon Ball community. I've interviewed everybody, bro. The only one I haven't done, I didn't do Kara Edwards. That's probably it as far as the big ones go. I did two-parter with Sean, which is the best. That Sean Schemmel interview is the best Sean Schemmel interview ever done. Ever. Two parts. We went into his fucking past like that. I'm so proud of that.
yeah, I've watched it quite a few times. It's really good.
Yeah, it's I want to get him back, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So Goku and Arale teaming up. That's another great panel right there. And yes, Arale is pure of heart, even though she doesn't really have a heart because she's a robot, nevertheless. I don't know what they're talking about in the chat. Dale Kelly. Yeah, Dale Kelly was the guy from Funimation. I don't like that guy's voice. I mean, actually, his voice is okay, but I don't really like it, bro. That's the guy who was like, Krillin's in the house.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Terrible. Okay, so moving on. Goku meets Senbei and the family, including the baby, which is Turbo. In case you don't, and again, we have to explain this. So Senbei is the main character of Dr. Slump. It's not Arale. Arale is the second main character. Senbei is the original main character. And the whole thing about Senbei is that for the majority of the early part of the series, he's in love with this blonde chick right here. Now, she's a teacher. Now, he does end up getting with her later on. Spoiler alert. But Senbei is basically, how can I explain his character? He
is a introvert who is a super genius who essentially most of the Dr. Slump adventures that you see play out had to do with the invention that he made for that episode. There was a huge string of episodes where a lot of the episodes were themed around the different inventions he would create. For example, in the filler episode in Super,
yes, Kate Cruiser, it's Midori.
The machine the reality warping machine that he creates in that episode, that was already a thing in Dr. Slump that already existed. That's just an example of like the different things that he would create, Arale included. And most of the series is centered around the different inventions he would create. And sometimes the inventions that he would create would be to do perverted things towards this lady, like, seeing her naked or whatever. And so like he's essentially just an introvert who's actually extremely intelligent and super smart, but because he's so shy and doesn't know how to approach women, he's screwed in that avenue.
The funniest moment in Dr. Slump for me, he creates these. Okay, so here's the thing about Senbei. He is a super genius. He creates androids, time machines. This man is always inventing some new shit. Like, this man has a camera that if you take a picture with it, a picture comes out and it's the future version of you. Like, this man is just as smart as any of the other Dragon Ball characters that are scientists, except he's also an idiot. He's a complete buffoon. There is an episode where, hold on, Mango says, isn't the Dragon Box got the green tint and 720p? No, there's no 720p on the Dragon Boxes, dude. Dragon Box is DVD. 720p is high definition. There are no Dragon Boxes that are 720p. So he creates a device where you can see through women's clothing because he wants to see her naked.
Yep.
And there's a scene where he sees somebody else naked and he gets a boner. But instead of Toriyama drawing him getting a boner, he put Godzilla roaring in the pant. Like, he goes, roar, and that's supposed to symbolize him getting a hard on. Good shit, bro. Wasn't Arale supposed to be a grown-up woman? I don't remember if he wanted a wife or something, but something goes wrong.
No, that is not correct at all. I
No.
don't know where the hell
I don't
you heard
know where
that.
you got that
What
from,
the
bro.
hell you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know where you got that from. There's so much bullshit on the internet. I prefer Doc as narrator because I grew up with Kai.
It's okay.
He was maybe I'm thinking of the ocean dub guy. The ocean dub guy is the guy I like, but I do like Doc Morgan as well. K Cruiser says that's only in the 1997 reboot. See, I haven't seen the 97 slump. But that one, so the 97 slump is an example of what Jordan was talking about earlier. That's Toei saying we can probably do better than Toriyama, and they didn't. Yep. The 97 slump, from what I've seen, is a totally separate thing. It is not based on Toriyama's works. It's sort of their own thing. And because it takes place after Dragon Ball, or not takes place, it came out after GT, it's just different.
Yeah.
And there is a crossover in the 97 slump that is not in the manga, where Kid Goku does appear and he fights Murasaki the ninja, and that is fun stuff, but Toriyama had nothing to do with that.
Yep.
So, Chapter 83, the Soul and Dragon Radar. So, at this point, Senbei, because he's a super genius, is trying to fix Goku's Dragon Radar, as you can see right here. And again, he's a super genius, but Bulma is too. But again, Senbei's kind of an idiot. So what would I do? I'll lose my spot. See, he's over here thinking, if I don't fix this fucking radar, I'm going to look like an idiot in front of everyone. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but ego.
Right, of course. But Turbo, his son, is even more of a super genius. And Turbo literally uses his telekinetic powers to put the radar back together.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Let me ask you a question. And this is a very difficult question. You may not be able to answer it. Who do you think is more powerful? Arale or Turbo?
I mean, they imply that Turbo is ridiculously powerful, but Toriyama himself said that Arale is the most powerful being ever. So,
but it's weird because Turbo has like the powers of a god almost.
He is like a god.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Toriyama may say that, but Turbo is very. He can do shit that he can do magic and shit, stuff that Arale can't even do.
Yep.
I would go on Twitter and do a poll, but 99%, who's Turbo?
Yep.
What can you do, bro? Hopefully after this stream, some people will check out Dr. Slump. And it's not like Dragon Ball, but it is. And then this guy's over here gloating about being a genius and shit, bro. But of course, here comes Blue sneaking up on him again. Blue appears. By the way, this is so much fun in the anime as well.
It is.
He tries to steal the Dragon Balls. He does that telekinetic or that telepathic freeze technique. Goku's frozen, but this, of course, leads to Arale being the one to challenge him to a fight. I love this very much here. He's about to dip out. He hits Goku because Goku can't do anything about it. And Senbei's like, Arale, do something. And then fans of Slump get to see Arale kick ass one more time. I'm sure if you were a fan of Arale, like if you were a Japanese person reading the manga, you probably popped at seeing Arale do something cool one more time.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when they did the Arale episode of Super. And of course, why is this episode even here? It's like people forget this is... Why do people forget this?
No, they do. They do. People just automatically assume that all content is made specifically and catered to them as an individual. And it's just, I guess it's just a part of human nature, but yeah, it happens.
Now, if your argument is that you feel like Toei should focus on the international market more, I agree with that. I do agree with that mentality, but you have to always remember that Toei and for Shueisha, Japan is number one. That's their number one priority. Latin America, America. To be honest with you, Latin America has the most Dragon Ball fans, but per capita. Then you have North America. And there are more Dragon Ball fans in North America and in Latin America than there are in Japan, but it doesn't matter. To them, it's all about Japan first.
Right.
Arale with that. Did I miss a super chat? No, I think we're good. Anyways, Arale with the Arale kick boots this motherfucker. Again, this is all played up for comedy because that's what Dr. Slump is. And then she headbutts him again right in the fucking nuts. Right there. Good night, Blue. And as a result of that, Blue loses his concentration and Goku can move again.
Yep.
So she said, I sent him flying far away. And then Goku's obviously marking out over her power. And gets the Dragon Balls back. And then look, here is classic Goku. There really are still a lot of people stronger than me. I'm going to have to keep training a lot. That's what Goku is. That's him. That's the takes the Dragon Balls. Turbo made the new radar. I learned by watching. There's Turbo using his powers to literally create a new radar.
He was so sweet not to sell his dad out too.
Yes. Look at this guy right here. Goku should have married Arale. She's a robot, dude.
What are you talking about?
That says a lot about you, bro. Maybe he's one of those guys that has like an AI girlfriend and shit, bro. Like the 60-watt guy or something. I don't know. But people, I'm being mean to my fans again, even though I'm fucking with them, of course. No, all joking aside, Goku marks out that the radar's fine, calls the ketone. I love this upcoming panel here. Goku says goodbye to Arale. And then, of course, over here, just who was that kid anyways? And then this fucking guy. Now, notice Blue goes out to a phone booth in the middle of what looks to be Egypt or whatever to make a phone call. But at this point, is he back in the Dragon Ball world? I don't even know anymore.
Well, they show pyramids in the Dragon world too.
Right, they're in both worlds.
Yeah, so I mean, it's whatever.
I get people being confused about this, but it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's just not. Just don't take it seriously and you'll be fine. Just like canon. Stop worrying about canon. Nobody outside of America gives a fuck about canon.
Tank. He's right, man. He just survived a blow from Arale, man. That's...
Yes. Chapter 84, the Karin Sanctuary. That's basically the sacred Karin land. I adore this art right here, bro. I think it looks dope.
This kind of goes back to why I said you can't use Arale to scale Goku. Because Arale literally just, like, Blue survived Arale knocking him across the planet. And then here in a few chapters, you're going to see General Tao, like, just completely destroyed.
Who the fuck is General Tao, bro?
Tao Pai Pai.
I can't believe you said General Tao on my fucking stream, bro.
I have to relate to the fans.
No, okay? Even the dub, when they went back through Dragon Ball, changed them into Mercenary Tao.
That's true. That's true. But, you know, sometimes some habits are hard to break. That was my childhood, bro.
Well, that's your problem, not mine. Anyways, didn't mean to do that. All right. Justin Sullivan says, for the record, I didn't lie about reading the manga. I just got the continuity of that and the anime confused. That's all. No, I don't know what, if they're, look, Justin, if they're picking on you in the chat and making fun of you, don't take it personally. That's the thing. You can't be soft around here, bro. Like, you really can't. I'm not saying you are, but like, I was just saying, you know, I was just calling you a poser, but not like seriously calling you a poser. I always get stuff mixed up as well. Sometimes I'll see a scene and I'll ask, I'm like, was that in the manga? Because sometimes I think, so don't worry about that. I appreciate the super chat, but I'm saying don't worry about that. It happens. All right. Son Goku, after reclaiming the 3 Dragon Balls from General Blue, has begun to head farther and farther west on Kinto, searching for a journey to the west, bro. It never ends, does it?
Nope. It really doesn't.
So now Commander Red's calling on Colonel Yellow, who had a very, very brief appearance. Yellow was not a main villain. He was also in what do you call it? In the anime. Now, here it says Sacred Land of Karin. Now, it's not Karin, it's Karin, Karin. And this is the Sacred Karin Realm. Now, the Sacred Karin Realm is, we're about to meet 2 new characters. This is a part of the world that is sacred because there's Karin Tower. Now, what we find out later on is that Karin Tower is sort of like the Tower of Babel from the Bible that is meant to connect to heaven. But we're going to be talking more about that this Saturday because we're going to watch the anime episodes on Twitch.
Special guest.
Goku. I'm
Special
getting there.
guest.
Goku ascending to heaven, and Jordan will join us for that section to explain why that's so significant. And I think when we get there on the Mangalorian, you'll have to say it again, but I'll let you do it.
Okay.
So I'm just saying. Slick and me. Sorry I haven't called one of these live. Been busy. Glad to join. No, don't worry about it. I appreciate it. It's you don't have to apologize. I know you got a life. Bora. Now, in case you're wondering what the whole Native American thing is, obviously there's no America in Dragon Ball, so he's not really a Native American, but he's supposed to look like one. I don't know if you guys know this, but Native American tribes oftentimes considered land to be sacred. They have like sort of a different, I guess more of a polytheism belief. You can talk about it if you have any idea.
Yeah, they essentially believe that it's very similar. Actually, this is something that kind of crosses over between Japanese and culture and Native American culture. Is they believe that everything is associated with a great spirit. And that, you know, the land itself, the earth itself is a part of a greater creation, that everything is connected and that, you know, everything is sacred. And if you essentially the idea, it's very similar to like if you treat a person bad, that's a reflection of how you would treat the entire universe if you were in charge. So that's sort of like how the Native Americans looked at land. If you would neglect and abuse the land, then you would neglect and abuse anyone, right? So that's essentially how they look at it.
Right. And it's also the thing about the sacred Karin land is that it does connect man to God, which we find out way later on in the series, but it is a sacred land. So no evil allowed is what the point is. Yeah. Sayan says, Bonjour de Francais. Dragon Ball Kakume is very good. I have not read it. Is Kakume made by a French guy?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. I had a feeling he was a foreigner, but I wasn't sure, like, you know, what.
Shout out to the French Dragon Ball fans. I have quite a few.
Oh, dude, the French Dragon Ball community, they get a lot. Bro, I've been envious or jealous of the French Dragon Ball fans because they got a lot of the games in the 90s that we didn't get. Like, they got translated games of, like, Super Butoden, like, France is such a smaller country than America, and yet they get so much shit that we don't get.
Yeah.
All right, let's answer this question here. Justin, shame on you for not donating, but I'm going to answer your question anyways. So Karin is supposed to essentially be a St. Peter figure for the Dragon Ball continuity. I guess you learn something new every day. I would not call him St. Peter. He's more of a demigod. He is what you call a Senin, which is a hermit. Same thing with Roshi, but he's like a demigod, which is why he has access to time-telling portals, and
he's a mediator between heaven and earth.
That's a good way to explain it. Yeah, and he's also the guardian before you get to heaven. But he also has magical abilities. Like he can create nimbus clouds. He has the senzu. So he's just an old sage. They never explain how old he is, but he's implied to be very, very, very old.
Right.
So here in the sacred Karin land, we've got K. Cruz says Bandai needs to have a Dragon Ball Butoden collection. They never will. I think if you play, this is okay, before we get to the manga, I could be wrong about this, but I seem to remember if you play Dragon Ball Extreme Butoden on DS, I think if you beat that game a certain amount of times, you unlock Super Butoden 2. Do you have any memory of that? You unlock the whole game? Something like that? Do you remember that?
No, it's been a long time, man. It's been a very long time. I love how there's just straight up murder happening on this page. Like no
Well,
mercy.
the
Just
Red
straight
Ribbon Army is
up.
in the Karin lands.
Yeah, I know. He just straight up spears that guy, man. Like that's insane. Like no mercy.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah, we're gonna get there, but just hand over the Dragon Ball where you don't need it, do you? And then here he is getting speared. Now, see, here it is. Look, here it is. Look. The ball means nothing to me. However, I'm protecting the sacred land. I will not forgive people like you who bring turmoil to it. That's what we're talking about, man. Like, he is the guardian of that land. It's sacred.
Yeah.
And then this guy, this is supposed to represent the white man coming to America and essentially like
Colonizing.
yeah, colonizing, but they're not going to colonize on Bora because he fucking eats those fucking bullets, bro. Bora is not on the level of a martial artist like Roshi and them, but he can take them. He can take them. Now, Mecha J says the French and Latin Dragon Ball fandom greater than the US fandom. That's because of the dub, bro. That's a big reason. The dub fucked people up, bro. It really did. It made people think things that aren't true. And then here, Bora's just whooping ass. This is all done to introduce Bora. Now, if you're wondering why, if you're curious about this character, Riello, once again, go watch the Red Ribbon Army Explain video. This character is literally based on a World War II movie that Toriyama saw when he was a kid. I go into more detail on that in that video. So, oh yeah, so check it out, bro. He fucking got rid of all of them, dog, except the one that got away.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely tough.
Yeah. He said the dub brainwashed people. It just gave him the wrong impression. Yeah. Barry Watson's fault. And then he's going to go give them a proper burial, bro. What a nice guy to actually give them a proper burial, bro.
Yeah, no hard feelings. You're just not supposed to corrupt the earth.
Oh, shit. Hold on a minute. Herm sent me a DM. Hold on a minute. This is something that hold on. I didn't know Herms was in Taiwan, bro. So Herms is in Taiwan and they have bootleg Dragon Ball merchandise, including an Ultra Ego Vegeta poster that I know would sell crazy in this country, dude.
That's awesome.
When the manga comes back, I'm thinking about putting out another Ultra. I put out 2 Ultra Ego Vegeta shirts. I have the one where he's by himself with the fist, and then I have the one where it's him and Goku. And I love the one with him and Goku. You know what I'm talking about? They're face to face.
Yeah, it's very similar to my hoodie.
You should just be wearing my merch, Jordan. But all right,
this is my merch, bro.
All right. Do you have a store?
No, this is a personal hoodie that I designed for myself. Nobody else in the world will ever have this.
Why
it's
don't
funny
you fucking sell it?
Because I love it and it's mine. But anyway, I remember the first stream we ever had. Somebody claimed to have had this hoodie, and I thought that was so hilarious. I was like,
really?
Oh, yeah, I was like, no, dude. Yeah, if you go back, I'm wearing this hoodie in our first stream, and somebody was like, "Oh, I have that." No, you don't.
Maybe he has one that he thinks is like that, but not quite. Maybe the same color.
Maybe.
Yeah, I got a shirt that says Birdland Press and it has Toriyama's face on it. That was custom made for me. I will say this. I haven't put out any new merch yet, but when the manga comes back or when Diamond starts, that's what I'm going to start cranking out.
My favorite thing about this hoodie is that Vegeta is on this side with the Great Ape. And then Goku is on this side with the Goku avatar thing.
How the fuck? Why don't you just sell it and make a little bit of money? Just a little bit.
I just love it's my hoodie, bro. It's my hoodie.
All the people in the chat think you're selfish, bro.
Well, it is what it is.
The 60-watt guy, I also can't wait for Diamond. I think it's gonna be good and actually excited and happy about it. Me too, bro, because it's Dragon Ball. and it's Dragon Ball, and it's new, and it's better than nothing. That's why I don't get the complaining. People complaining about a new Dragon Ball series makes no sense, because if they didn't make Daima, we'd just be sitting here with our dicks in our hands doing nothing. At least there's a new series coming.
Right.
Oh, well, geekdom, you need Daima to make money. Yeah, I sure do, bro. Jordan, do I need Daima to make money, bro?
No, he'd be fine.
Come on, man. I need Daima to buy myself another yacht, bro. So I need, motherfucker. Get fucked. I'm going to buy myself a solid gold house. No, all joking aside, I'm excited for Daima. So at this point, Commander Red says, fuck it, and calls in a favor from Tao Pai Pai, bro.
General Tao. No, that's good.
I was about to say, ignore Jordan's, bro, you know what, bro? You're like a heretic, bro. You're basically a heretic.
Sometimes.
You're a heretic for that, bro. That is blasphemy around here. So they're calling Tao Pai Pai the mercenary, the guy. Oh, now Mango's saying I should take merch ideas from you, bro. Didn't we talk about that a while ago? Like remember you said you wanted to design, not even Dragon Ball, you wanted to design like dragons, like cool little drag. Are you still going to do that?
Yeah, I have been doing it. I just, I got a lot going on. I have a bunch of designs.
How many subs does your channel have right now? Do you remember?
I think it hit 5,000 almost. It's not much.
I think I think you'll probably get to 10,000 by the end of the year. And if you do, I think you should put out merch when you get to 10,000. Because I can help you with that. Like, I can tell you where to go, and it's not going to cost you anything.
Awesome. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because I think people like cool shirts. And the thing about the merch that I try to put out personally is that I want to wear shirts that look cool. And then if you go to an anime con, like I don't like putting out virgin shit, bro. Like I like putting out like cool fucking like badass shirts.
Yeah.
I had this fucking idea that I'm gonna probably do it, where it's Gohan Beast and he's got his foot on Cell Max's head and it's destroyed, like decapitated. I wanted to do that shit so fucking bad.
I remember you telling me about that, yeah.
Dude, I think I might put that out later in the year. Or I might put one out where he's like looking badass, like, and then Cell Max's head is in the back, like with the eyes X, like destroyed. That's fucking badass, bro. That should be, everybody want to wear that shit, bro. Just don't put your name or your face on it.
Looking up to his dad is so wholesome, bro.
Yeah, I need to hurry up and become as strong. These are characters that Toriyama genuinely left behind that I wish he didn't. They do appear again in Z. They are there. So here comes more trouble. And this is all being done to build up Tao Pai Pai. Here comes Goku. Remember, the battle with Tao takes place on the Sacred Karin land. Justin Sullivan says, how did Commander Red convince Tigger to join the Red Ribbon Army?
Bro,
you know what's wild? Have you ever
Winnie the Pooh shows up later, so I mean,
that's true. Have you ever seen the old Winnie the Pooh movie, bro?
Yeah, of course.
Tell me that movie isn't a fucking acid trip, bro.
Dude, that movie has such a vibe. It's almost like you're meant to watch it while you're on anesthesia or something. Like, I don't know.
Or weed. Bro. Yeah. Heffalumps and woozles.
Oh my god.
And woozles. They are coming. Beware. Beware.
I need to watch that with my kids. I wonder how they would react to that.
While you're stoned, bro. That's what you need to do. Heffalumps and woozles. Do you get stoned around your kids?
No.
Just don't give them weed, bro. If you're in the chat, do not take weed until you're 25. Trust me. Yes, I know when you turn 18, you can legally buy it. I get it. And I know a lot of people smoke weed in high school when I was there. But you do not want to take any weed until you turn 25 because your frontal lobe is not developed until 25. And if you take, here's my public service announcement for the day, bro. If you take marijuana before you turn 25, you have the risk of damaging. You know how to say it kills brain cells? It's only before 25 you have the risk of damaging your brain formation. You know what I'm saying? Jordan's like, I don't fucking care. I've been doing this since I was 10. That's what he's thinking. Don't tell him that, Jordan. We got to help them out. I love this right here, bro. Goku just shows up and pummels this motherfucker.
Yeah, dude. Looks like he hit him in the nuts. It's so funny.
It does. Yeah. It's just not enough, bro. Chapter 85, Tao Pai Pai the Assassin. So I love this because that's our first look at Tao Pai Pai, the unstoppable Son Goku, the killer Tao Pai Pai, the man who stood up to the Red Army Bora, the mysterious Overlord Commander Red. I love Toriyama when he does stuff
that's
like this.
That's like a movie. That's like movie poster type stuff.
It's almost like the beginning of a movie.
It's entertainment. It's like it's a entertainment advertising type thing. It reminds me of like a movie poster where they're showing you different angles of the story and different, you know what I mean?
It's almost like he's previewing what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Like a character bio.
Yeah.
So thank you for helping my son. I helped him beat the Red Army guy. That's all. And then there's the 4-star Dragon Ball. That is the one that represents Goku's grandfather. Is there a significance in Journey to the West to the number 4 that you think of?
No, Toriyama even said himself that he just randomly picked 4. There's no significance to that number at all.
Yep. And it says here, I finally found my grandpa's Sushinchu, which is that's the Chinese-Japanese translation for 4-star ball. The person who did these translations is a geek and kept some of the Japanese while also putting in curse words, whatever. So this part is interesting. This is actually one of my favorite scenes in the manga. Blue returns to the Red Ribbon headquarters. Remember, he's failed. Tao Pai Pai's been called. These motherfuckers are trying to blast him, and that ain't going to work because Blue is strong. However, more to come. So here comes Tao Pai Pai. 'Tis I, the greatest assassin in the world, Tao Pai Pai. I love it, bro. So Tao shows up, and the Red Ribbon Army, remember, he's not a general. They added, we should talk about this. So Barry Watson, in his infinite wisdom, because he's so smart, instead of actually doing the research and going back to Dragon Ball, he just makes it up. And he just assumes that this is General Tao. Tao Pai Pai is not a general.
Yeah, he's independent. He's an assassin independent of the Red Ribbon Army.
He is an assassin for hire. You pay him enough money, and he will assassinate somebody for you.
Yeah, that's why
that's it.
That's why calling him General Tao, like I did, is not good because it confuses people. It confuses them into thinking that he actually works for the Red Ribbon Army, like he's actually a part of them, when really he's just an assassin that they hired.
And that's why dub fans get confused because they've been given wrong information. Now, when they went back to dub Dragon Ball, wait a minute, he's not a general? Yuck. I don't know if y'all know this, but the reason as to why there's so many dub changes in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball is because of Barry Watson. He's a fucking hick redneck from Texas who was one of the producers on Dragon Ball, who chose to change everything for no fucking reason. The reason why Dragon Ball, why they're even called Saiyans, is because of him. It's supposed to be pronounced Saiyan. We've said it a million times on this channel. Saiyans are not even called Saiyans. They're called Saiyans. But because he's a dumb hick, they're called Saiyans. Yuck. And it's just like, even Sean Schemmel, when he went in to voice Goku for the first time, he was reading the script and he goes, I'm a Saiyan. And then Barry Watson goes, no, we say Saiyan here. Yuck. And it's just, he's the reason why the dub is so bad. Now, if they had a different guy in there, it would have been different.
There is some cool stuff about Tao Pai Pai that a lot of people don't know. So Tao Pai Pai is an assassin, but he's also an archetype that Toriyama borrowed from Journey to the West.
And a martial artist.
Yes.
A good one. A very good one. The best one up until this point is the villain.
So there are a bunch of Taoists, martial artists, priests, and things of that nature who are hired to assassinate Sun Wukong and Journey to the West multiple times. There's also like Taoist priests and stuff like that he just runs into along his adventures. And the significance of that is that these Taoist priests and Taoist characters have superpowers as a result of practicing Taoism. And that's the reason that they're a threat to Sun Wukong, because they're essentially practicing a similar method that the Monkey King himself practiced to have his powers, which Tao Pai Pai does. He's a martial artist. And so, like, this is just essentially like the quintessential archetype for the many villains that actually gave the Monkey King a run for his money in the original novel. So, just cool.
I want to address this. I think the dub of DBZ is pretty decent. Usually, anime dub is terrible, but DBZ did okay. Might be nostalgia. That's code for I've never watched Dragon Ball subbed. That's what you just exposed to me, bro. Saying the DBZ's dub is decent just proves that you've never experienced the real show. Now, I'm not making fun of you. This type of shit irritates me because let me just put it to you like this. Dragon Ball Z Episode 1 has 77 dub changes. Dragon Ball Z Episode 1 has 77 dub changes. That means that for the entirety of Dragon Ball Z, there are literally thousands of things that were changed.
Yep.
If that's a good dub, bro, a dub that did nothing but fuck shit up for the rest of us, that ain't anybody who actually understands dubbing and what makes it good knows that the Dragon Ball Z dub is horrible. It's not only horrible, it's like one of the worst dubs ever. I wouldn't put it on the level of like the Yu-Gi-Oh dub or the early One Piece dub, but it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question that is actually a very interesting question. Cherokee says, when you watched Dragon Ball when you were younger, what made you try reading the manga? I'm going to go with you first. Because my answer is actually very interesting.
I actually stumbled upon a Chinese, it was an untranslated Chinese bootleg of the original Dragon Ball manga. I didn't even know the manga existed until I ran across this bootleg. And then I was like, oh, there's a manga. So that's what caused it for me. It wasn't even necessarily that it was just simply the fact that I didn't know it existed at the time. And then when I found out it did exist, I immediately wanted to read it. So
wait, by that point, had you already seen the anime or watched some of it?
Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I got into the anime first. The only reason I really read so this is going back to the 90s. There was a guy named Curtis Hoffman. He's pretty well known now, but he's not in the fandom anymore. And 60 Watt, I prefer stuff in dubs. I hope it doesn't get hate. No, it's not about hate. I actually watch most of my anime dubbed, but the Dragon Ball Z dub is horrible. It's the script.
Yeah, it's the context. Here's the thing. When it comes to media literacy, context is key. And if somebody changes the context, then you can't correctly digest media. Like that's the thing. It's just like you're not actually watching the series at that point.
No, you're watching a kidified, babyfied version of it.
A regurgitated, altered version of the original product that's not pure in any way.
The fact that Schemmel and Sabat hate that dub and they worked on it should tell you everything. And Rager, all those guys, they hate it because of how bad it is. So my answer about the manga was there was a guy named Curtis Hoffman who did manga. He did these manga summaries, and I had not seen all of Dragon Ball at that point. All I could do is read the summaries. And then I stumbled upon a file on IRC. This is going back to the year 2001. And it was the manga, and these versions are still out there somewhere. It was the manga, but it was like reversed because you have to read left to right to left, and it was like a kind of a not a clean scan. It was a scanlation, but it was like kind of like not done well. And that was my first introduction to the manga. It was the black and white one, and so that's when I first read it, and I just wanted to read it because I didn't have the episodes. I read the manga and got the whole story because I didn't have the episodes. This is 2001. This is like, no, actually it was 2000. It was before the Cell Saga even aired on TV. So if you're watching the dub, you haven't even gotten those episodes yet. So I wanted to see what the fuck happened, and that's what I did it with the manga.
Yeah, I think the clarification that the script is what you don't like about the dub is something that people just don't understand whenever
It's a horrible script. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I think people generally try to assume that you're just against like English voice acting because there are other people who are like that in the anime community.
Yes, and I'm not
that's
like
not
that.
how
I'm
it
not a
is.
snob.
That's not how Gitam is at all. It's or Danny. That's not how Danny is at all. He can't stand the script changes, and I relate to that. Like it's just, you know, I want you to get the original context, the original story, because if you're like a modern fan, right? There's things that you're not going to, even in the modern material, you're not going to understand if you don't have the original context. That's just how it works.
Yep. And that's why you have dumb fucking fans. Hunter Mihei says, I had a feeling that Tao Pai Pai's name has to do with Taoism. Thanks again, Jordan. It's more than that. Tao Pai Pai's name is a double pun because Tao Pai Pai means peach, white, white. But also Pai Pai is a pun for like, it's like a pun for titties or dick or something like that. It's like a triple pun, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Toriyama's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, this guy right here, Jigsaw Billy, saying sounds cooler than the original name. The original name is stupid. That's called nostalgia, my friend. If you disconnect from your nostalgia and understand that Saiyan is from Yasai, that's nostalgia. That's all that is nostalgia, bro. You can't even say that it sounds stupid because every single Dragon Ball translation, including the Latin American one, they call it Saiyajin.
I have a feeling that he's probably the type of guy that wants all media catered to him. And
well, he said, "I'm out. Time to unsubscribe, dude. Get out of here, dude. Listen to me, bro. Unlike other fucking YouTubers, bro, I'm not gonna suck your dick and kiss your ass. If you want to unsubscribe, get the fuck out, dude. I'd rather have cool people who aren't fucking morons. And if you want to unsubscribe, if you don't want to, that's fine. But I'm never gonna be like, please don't leave. No, dude, I'm telling you the fucking truth. That fucking dub sucks. That fucking dub has a bad script. If that bothers you so much, bro, then go find Barry Watson, get on your knees and lick his balls. That's your problem, dog. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, that's fine if you want to. There's nothing wrong with having nostalgia for the dub. I even have it. But objectively speaking, bro, it's bad. Justin Sullivan says, Tao Pai Pai was such a badass. Fun fact for those not in the know, he was the second character in the series to beat Goku in a fight and the first villain to do it.
Yep.
He was the strongest villain up until this point.
Yeah.
It's just funny. What makes me laugh about people is they tell people shit like they tell, I can't speak for other content creators, but they'll say, I'm unsubscribing. Okay. What do you want me to do, bro? Fucking lick your balls so you stay? Okay. See, I don't do that. If I'm on a YouTuber, if I follow a YouTuber and he does something to make me unsubscribe, I'm not going to tell him.
Saying it to him is just like...
It's basically Karin behavior. You know what I mean? Who the fuck do you think you are, bro? Well, I'm unsubscribing. No, please don't. I really want to read
narcissism that you had to deal with from this fandom, bro. I'm so sorry.
It's so narcissistic, bro. People think that they actually matter, that they as much as they do. I think every person matters to a degree, but I'm just never gonna kiss ass for a subscription.
Ego.
Bro. So here is the part that I was talking about. So Blue came back, but he failed. And Red ain't having it. Red is not having it, bro. And he got the radar, right? But at this point, Tao Pai Pai's already been hired. Now, question, do you know if Tao got paid? Because I never understood if he got paid.
It's implied that he wouldn't do the job without getting paid.
So he got paid before he was even sent out to go kill Goku.
Yeah, that's what's implied.
Yeah. And the thing about Tao Pai Pai is the reason why he's such an expensive killer, and I think Justin brought it up earlier, is Tao Pai Pai is a trained martial artist from the Crane Hermit School. Now, we didn't know that at the time if you're reading this in order, but he's the brother of the Crane Hermit who trained Ten Shin Han and Chaozu. These are accomplished martial artists who know ki, and there's only a small number of people on the planet who can fuck with them. Like, Tao Pai Pai is a very good killer because he knows how to fight in multiple fucking martial arts, and very few guys can fuck with him. Guys like Roshi, you know, some of the martial arts that tournament.
He is the teachings of Roshi's master corrupted in a sense, like just like
He's using his skills for evil and not good.
Yeah.
So this is funny. So Red says, since you've worked hard for the Red Ribbon Army, I'll give you a chance. If you can fight Tao Pai Pai here and win, I'll forgive you. Blue is stronger than the average human, but we're talking about Tao Pai Pai.
This is the difference between somebody who practices martial arts and chi and somebody who doesn't.
Well, I'm sure Blue knows some shit because we know he has those abilities, but Tao Pai Pai, something that's not explained in the series, Tao Pai Pai is almost 300 years old. He is old. I know he looks young, but the whole thing about Dragon Ball is that, and this is also something you see in Kung Fu movies, there are hermits that are old as shit but look young because they are able to like control their ki so much that they don't age. Their cells are like, they know how to do this shit.
That's how Sun Wukong became immortal. That's essentially the same thing. It's the same thing.
And also, and this is going in a different kind of direction, but if you study what's being studied now about humans, we're discovering now that the reason as to why we age, like scientifically, is because of cell damage. So the research now is trying to figure out how to replenish cells, because here's the thing, and this is kind of wild. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but the human brain can actually live for hundreds of years. Like your brain could actually function for hundreds of years, but you need the rest of the body, the heart, the lungs, food. You have to feed it. If we can figure out a way to make the brain replenish its own cells, that could actually lead to longer lives and possibly even immortality. That sounds scary, but it's actually cool shit. It's interesting.
It is.
Yeah. So here we have Tao, who dedicated his life to martial arts. That's the difference. This man dedicated his whole motherfucking life. Blue is probably a practitioner. This is not going to go well, bro. I don't even need to use my arms or legs on someone like you. My tongue alone will do. How exciting. Do you think, Jordan, and be honest, that this is supposed to be Toriyama kind of making fun of the fact that Blue is gay and he's getting tongued down by a guy? I don't know if it's that deep, but you and I always hear it's not that deep, and usually it is. What do you think?
I don't know. Toriyama does have a wacky, twisted sense of humor. But I think more than anything, this is just supposed to reflect, because it is a trope in like martial arts films where like somebody will use like one finger, right? Or they'll use like one hand or something. So I think this is more so just playing on that type of trope than it is anything else.
Imagine having a tongue that strong. Now, I will tell a quick story here. This is a true story. I have a video on my channel called the Tao Pai Pai Explained. If you want to learn all about Tao Pai Pai, I have a dedicated video I put out in 2016 about him. Many years ago, me and my chick, I'm not with her anymore, we were going to go have sushi, and I played the video for her in the car. There's a part in the video where I go, now, like Tao Pai Pai, I know how to use my tongue in special ways, like basically implying that I know how to eat pussy, which I do. And she's watching that part of the video, and she looks up at me and she goes, and she has this smirk on her face, and I'm like, am I lying? And then she's like, let's go inside. She gave me, I can't replicate the look, bro, but she gave me a look of like this.
It's hard to replicate that classic look. Yeah.
Like this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Okay. My grandpa lived around 115 years. Wow. Used to wake up every day, 5 in the morning. Good. He kept moving and ate well, but he passed away 2 years ago. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, bro, but your grandfather lived longer than most human beings, dog. The thing is, if you take care of yourself and if you eat right, you can live a long time, and you can be 60 years old and have that Jack LaLanne physique and shit, bro. But unfortunately, most of us don't because the food is nasty now.
Yeah.
Right? So, Tao Pai Pai tongues fucking blue in the temple.
Straight up kills him, bro.
Kills him, bro. But he killed him with his tongue. I love that moment because it's so goofy. And the anime version's great with the sound effects they play. And he's dead. What a guy he really is, Tao Pai Pai. I can't believe he took out Blue with one hit. See, I already won. Now then, I assume we can end playtime here. Would you mind telling me what my true objective is? And this is, of course, find Son Goku, get the Dragon Balls back. And this moment right here, I love Tao Pai Pai, one of the great classic Dragon Ball villains. This is a classic move. Instead of being able to fly with Bukujutsu, which, by the way, Bukujutsu is a technique that the Crane School knows about, because the first characters in Dragon Ball to actually fly without wings that we see is Tenshin Han and Chaozu. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
So why do you think Tao never learned?
I think he just wants to flex. I think it's a flex. I think he's just
but he never flies though. He doesn't know how to fly.
He doesn't feel. I think he doesn't feel like he needs to. Look at what he's doing.
He doesn't.
But anyway, someone asked, "How is someone's tongue that sharp?" Listen, bro, your tongue is a muscle. Okay, like it's very
Ask
powerful.
Your mom.
No. But yeah, all right. Let's
bro.
So look, he even measures how far he has to throw the pillar to like make it to where he's supposed to go, and he uses that to determine how hard he's going to throw it. Like
I want to show you what Herms just sent me, bro. Can I do that real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
You are not going to believe what this man just sent me. I don't even think the chat's ready for this. They won't appreciate it as much as I will, maybe you as well. Herms is in Taiwan right now, and he just sent me this picture of something he found. You ready for this?
Sure, let's go. Whoa, that's crazy.
Bro. This thing has to cost at least like $500, if not more.
Probably more.
But holy fuck, do I want it. That right there, bro, is like something that, like, talk about doing a tribute to Toriyama. Look, I cannot believe this shit.
Yeah, that's very well done. It's got that 3D painting stuff going on. It's awesome.
I'm flabbergasted, bro. Hold on. I want that so bad. Oh my God.
That seems like something Toriyama would buy and put in his mansion.
Look at this. That's something else there.
Oh, wow.
Bro, this is my other monitor. I didn't mean to stop the stream, but you can't even tell me that's awesome. That's not awesome, I mean.
It's awesome, bro.
Big D and Jordan, thoughts on new Eminem album? I haven't heard it, bro. I haven't heard an Eminem album in years, bro. I'm out of rap. I got out of hip-hop around 2012, 2014. Jordan, you and I've shown you some rap CDs in the past, like Master Ace, but do you keep up with this shit still?
Not really, man. I just make my own beats and keep to myself as a musician. I mean, there are bands that I appreciate and listen to that, use rap to a degree. And I'm not against Eminem. I used to be a fan like way back in the day when I was a teenager, and his albums were pretty prominent back then. But as far as keeping up with it, a lot of modern music, just not a big fan of.
Yeah, I like listening to like classic rock, 60s, 70s, 80s pop, because pop in the 80s was awesome, 90s pop, and hip hop from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But anything after like 2014, dude, I'm very like, it's not that I hate it. It's It's not one of those. It's just I just don't
It
listen.
doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same. At least for
And
me, that's my personal experience. It doesn't hit
no,
the same.
yeah, and on my phone, I've got like the entire Metallica discography, the Beatles. Like I've got all the shit that I want. So I just listen to old shit.
I heard that he was going to revive Slim Shady for this album. I did hear about this.
I heard that too,
but I did not know that the album was out. Or I'll check it out. Like I'll give it a fair shot. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I might check it out too. Dude, I was around in high school when fucking Marshall Mathers dropped. Like I actually, you know what's crazy is I actually kind of got lucky. I was born the year I was born because when I was in high school, Dragon Ball Z was popping off on Toonami, so everybody loved Dragon Ball. Everybody loved Dragon Ball. And back in those days, nobody gave a fuck about, oh my God, Goku sounds like a girl. Nobody, oh, Bruce Falconer. Because when I would show them the Japanese shit, they were like mesmerized. There was new shit that we didn't have.
Yeah, they were grateful for it. Yeah. I think
didn't start till the internet.
Yeah, I think being media spoiled, which is the term for what you're talking about, where people can't appreciate things in the modern era because they're spoiled, where they've seen so much media. I think that's way more a problem in the modern era. I don't think it was really a problem at all back then, although it was starting to become a problem amongst critics. I think everybody who absorbs mass amounts of media now tends to consider themselves a critic when they really don't have the right to be.
That's a good point, dude. You nailed it. That is a very, very good point. Holy shit. And then when that was going, so that's when we had like Eminem at his peak. And then you also had, that was when wrestling was in the middle of the Attitude Era. And everybody in high school loved all that shit, bro. Like it wasn't, I mean, not every single kid, but my circle, I had black friends, I had Hispanic friends, I had white friends. Nobody complained. It was just a great time. And, you know, when I was in high school, before I got to high school, everybody said it's the greatest time of your life. And it really is. And I have told stories in the Discord of things that we did in high school that would probably get us arrested. And so all that stuff, you know, it just, I had a good run, bro. High school was my favorite time of my life. It really was. But then I discovered pussy, bro, and that also changed my life. So Tao Pai Pai takes a pillar, breaks it, and then throws it and then jumps on it. That's still one of the coolest.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool.
It's so awesome, bro. Moving on. And then I can practically feel the Dragon Balls in my hand already.
Dragon Ball out of context, bro.
And then
so these balls carry such a secret with them. That must be why they were so intent on stealing them.
He's learning about the Dragon Balls here for the first time. Where are we at on time? We actually
Toriyama is pretty aware of all these puns and stuff with, you know, like.
So we're going a little bit over. We usually do 2 hours, but this is the last chapter, I think. But there is something I want to talk about here. So here, Bob, Upa, and Bora are finding out about Karin or the Dragon Balls, and then they're telling Goku about Karin Tower. So this is the lore that I love so much that we're talking about. And Jordan, we'll be discussing this again this weekend, but I want to go through this with everybody because this is why the Mangalorian exists. So he says, this is the sacred tower that stretches all the way to the heavens, Karin Tower. It is said that the Sennin Sama, who built up this tower, now lives at the top. If one is to drink the holy water, the Sennin Sama possesses. Legend has it that their strength will increase exponentially. For generations, my family has guarded this sacred tower. See, that's the shit that I like, bro.
That's amazing. Yeah. Awesome.
And it's borrowed from, you're talking about Judeo-Christian, you're talking about Taoism. Is there anything in Journey to the West that specifically discusses a tower to heaven?
There's not necessarily a tower to heaven, but in order to be able to make it to Taoist heaven, you have to become an enlightened being. And so this is sort of a play on that, because Goku, the only reason he can make it to heaven or even halfway, you know, is because he's an enlightened being. So there is like a slight nod at like Journey to the West there, but it's not exactly the same. Like originally the idea was you would get a cloud. If you learned cloud riding, that was a sign that you had attained enlightenment, which meant that you could make it into Taoist heaven.
And who made the cloud in Dragon Ball? It was Karin. It all ties in.
That's right.
I want to say this chapter 86 cover art, this is one of my favorite pieces of cover art ever made.
Yeah, I really like the shading on Tao Pai Pai and Goku. It's great.
It's like next level.
It looks like what Toriyama would later have for his like I can't remember, like
from the Kanzenban releases.
Yeah. It looks like it's the early stages of that. Yeah,
it's so good though. Okay, I'm screenshotting it, so I'm gonna post on Twitter one of my favorite cover arts ever. Like that is a phenomenal cover, bro. And I love how in the background you've got like a little bit of like, you know, the like that's the rectangle and then the tower. It's great. So we're about to get our first confrontation with Goku and Tao, and of course Bora and them. Karin Tower, which stretches to the heavens and is said to reward whoever makes it to the top with an exponential power increase to their power, located where in the sacred land of Karin, which is just about to be painted in blood. What a fuck. You want to talk about your precious dub, bro? When the fuck does the dub ever say painted in blood, bro?
True that.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, Goku confronts Frieza for the first time. It means, in my language, it means you're going to pay. Remember that fucking horrible line, bro?
Yes, of course.
That's one of the worst. No, my favorite. This is all the fucking dub fans. Your shoes are untied. Joke's on you. I don't even have any laces. That's in the dub, bro. And people defend this shit, bro. How do you again, real shit, they defend it because they never watched this sub. If they watched this sub, they would completely flip over. Every single person that I have put onto the sub to watch the entire series has switched over because it's almost like a moment of clarity, like finding a religion. You're like, wait a minute. They fucked it up this much. I'm like, yes.
Actually is. You're like, oh, this is what Dragon Ball actually is.
They fucked it up this much.
Hold on, like seriously, it's on the level. The script is so bad that it's on the level of a parody. Like it's, I don't think people really understand just how bad it is. Like I really don't. Like you are not watching the actual Dragon Ball series. You are watching a bastardized, regurgitated version of what it's supposed to be. So you can be loyal to the dub all you want, but just don't bitch and complain when there's things about the series that you don't understand because you're so religiously, dedicated to the dub that you refuse to get the correct context as to what the series actually is. I don't have an issue with people like enjoying the dub or watching the dub or whatever. I watched it as a kid. What gets on my nerves is the people who watch the dub refuse to learn the context of the sub and then run around proclaiming that they actually know what they're talking about the series. That's what gets on my nerves about it.
What gets on my nerves is that I just don't, maybe it's because I'm older, I just don't understand when people say things like, I'm loyal to the dub. Why? Because of nostalgia. Like, that's the only reason. But how are you loyal to a dub that you have nothing to do with? Like, it does, it's weird. I want to highlight this comment here. I mentioned this earlier. Behind on stream due to outside stuff, but didn't Tao Pai Pai stays over 300. Yeah, I said he's almost 300, but it probably is over 300 years old. So that is true. And then Gabe Lewis says, how about the Kai dub? Is it bad too? The Kai dub is much better. I would not say it's bad.
Script-wise. It's definitely like way more accurate script-wise because the entire intention of Kai was to be more accurate. It's
like 97% accurate, maybe 96. But remember, it's only Z.
Yeah.
You're only getting half the story.
That's right.
And unfortunately, we live in a I guess I don't know what you call it, but we live in a situation where Dragon Ball is being ignored, not just original Dragon Ball, not just by the fans, but also the companies, because Dragon Ball Z Kakarot should have had OG Dragon Ball stories because of the way that game is. It would have been perfect for this type of story. and they cut it out. And now the narrative is that Dragon Ball is Raditz taboo when it never has been, nor was it ever intended to be. And the problem is that the video game companies don't like push the first half of the series, which is just as important, if not more so, than the second half.
Right.
And it's frustrating for me because I want people to watch, read, and appreciate real Dragon Ball, not the bullshit you've been fed. You understand what I'm saying? Because I think if people experienced real Dragon Ball all the way from the beginning to end, they would actually like it more. They would actually say, this is one of the best animes I've ever seen. And because it is, you know, I'm not comparing it to like Demon Slayer or whatever, but, you know. No, I don't think Sparking Zero will cover the first half, but I don't know yet. I know they're going to have some Dragon Ball characters in there.
Right.
I think, like King Piccolo and them. All right, so moving on. Here comes Tao Pai Pai, the greatest assassin in the world, and we're about to get to our first, like, I guess you can say, death of somewhat of a main character. It's hard to say if he is a main character or not.
It's still an impactful death, despite the fact that he's not on screen very long. It's still a very impactful death.
And he's also a good person.
But I think Tao Pai Pai, just to exaggerate how underrated he is and how little people understand about his character, a lot due to the dub. But he is supposed to be a representation of Goku's teachings. Okay? He is supposed to be a representation of someone practicing the opposite teachings that Goku himself was taught while using martial arts. So he himself is a reflection of Goku and the very school that Master Roshi learned from. And that's the entire point of Goku facing him as a character, is this is Goku essentially facing a reflection of the character traits and the stuff that he was taught not to be a part of, right? And a lot of people don't understand that about Tao Pai Pai. They think he's just an assassin hired to take down Goku, but there's much, much, much more to his character than that.
Yes. Far too Sega for you. Nah, it's in one of the screenshots you can slightly see Kid Goku. Yeah, I was sent that too about Sparking Zero. I think we're gonna get some Dragon Ball, but it won't be following the whole story. But the thing is, you have to remember, if they include everything, there's going to be 3 Kid Gokus. There's Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, Kid Goku from GT, Kid Goku from Daima. So we're going to get 3 different Kid Gokus in Sparking Zero if you include the DLC and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Davane or Davion John. Yeah, he says that the dub is nostalgia. I know that's the point. Like, that's my point, is the dub is nostalgia. That's what people watch it for, is nostalgia, you know. But that's all it is. Because every time
just watch the subbed Japanese anime and read accurate translations of the manga, and you will get the actual story. I promise.
Not just that, but I have been doing a stream every single Saturday at 1 p.m.
You're watching.
We're watching all of Dragon Ball start to finish. I promote it every fucking week in the community tab, and people are still like, where can I watch Dragon Ball at? You can watch it with me, and then I'll tell you all about it. Where can I see that? I've been doing this shit since January or February of last year.
And we're technically doing it right now, too, with the manga.
Yes, with the manga. Now, the problem is, this stream that we're doing now is going to be archived. The ones on Twitch are only archived for like a month. So I have to find a place to upload the old ones, and I'm still looking for that. I think we may put it on Internet Archive or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Demog says that he thinks Dragon Ball would make a better RPG than a fighter. I agree, and that's something I want.
Yeah,
no, but awesome. I want that. And there have been Dragon Ball RPGs that never got translated officially on Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
so,
we need that.
Oh, and they're fun, but I never beat any of them, but I probably should. I should probably stream those someday, bro, because I think a lot of fans, some of these games they've never been seen before. You know? And if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're going to be into a game, I would assume.
Right.
I mean, there's more hype for Sparking Zero than there is Daima, but they're obviously promoting it way harder, and people have been wanting that game for a while.
Right.
Diddley Squash says some people make YouTube channels specifically to archive Twitch streams. Buddy, I cannot archive the Twitch streams because we're watching Dragon Ball and Toei will take the videos down.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I wouldn't even be on Twitch. I'd be streaming it here. I tried to, but Toei takes it down. And on Twitch, they don't. That's why I have to go to Twitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
This guy said he's open to the idea of watching it in Japanese. I mean, I don't know how many fucking times we have to say the same thing over. I've been saying this shit now for 9 years to watch it in Japanese. Oh, man. Like, obviously, I know you have a life and you got shit to do. I'm not going to tell you go watch it now. But, I mean, this is nothing new from my channel, bro. I have criticized the dub from day one. And one thing I've noticed is that people that have only seen the dub, they genuinely don't know shit. Like, you ask them questions, they're like confused.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they probably
If I ask the average fan what Roshi taught Goku, they cannot tell me.
No. Or I saw a video a while ago with some YouTubers doing trivia, and they couldn't even answer the most basic shit. And it was just like, and I'm not saying that, like, look, I'm not saying that in order to have a Dragon Ball channel, you have to know everything. But don't you find it weird that there are people that have channels about Dragon Ball that have never seen certain, like, don't you at least, aren't you at least
that point
obligated to watch it all?
Don't you want a reliable source of information? I do. I know I do.
That's why I exist.
Yeah.
And also, I've noticed that anybody who says that I'm not a reliable source of information is just a fucking envious loser. Nobody with any kind of actual respect, including people that work at these companies, have ever said that about me. And I have a lot of haters. But like I was saying yesterday in the Discord, and it's kind of like fucked up, right? But it's weird. I have never seen somebody hate on me who's actually smart. They're all fucking stupid. And I don't mean like Dragon Ball smart. I mean, they're just really dumb, the shit that they say. Like stupid shit, ignorant shit. They're ignorant motherfuckers. And I almost want like a better troll. I want somebody to come along who can actually fucking
the new age troll, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just dumb shit. It's just stupid shit, like ignorant shit, you know? Why would anyone hate you? It's called envy.
Yeah.
Envy.
Yeah.
Why do people hate LeBron James? Why do people hate anybody, bro? If you hate somebody who you don't know, it's envy. Right. Xavier said, blew one out getting tongued to death by another man. That was what we said earlier, bro. And it's
He's
true.
probably behind in the stream.
Could be, yeah. Or sometimes when you try and super chat, it can like give you, stuff.
Yeah, give you.
Mecha J's mentioning Kanzenshu. Look, I don't even want to talk about Kanzenshu, bro, because that's like the opposite. You know what I mean? That's like the opposite, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other side of the fandom that I think turns off a lot of other fans. I try not to do that, but you never know. DJ Test, I've been subscribed for 10 years. Well, I've only been around 9, but I know what you mean. Next year will be my 10th year. So back to the manga. We got to wrap this up. So Bora goes for the spear. Tao Pai Pai grabs it with one hand. Bora's a big, strong, muscled up motherfucker and is like, holding on to shit. And he's just like playing with him, bro.
Toriyama wanted to draw like the stereotypical ridiculous martial arts master so bad. You can just tell. Like
he
the whole
picked him up with one hand.
Yeah, like catching the spear with 2 fingers and like, like it's very stereotypical stuff, but I love it and he does a great job drawing it as well.
Yeah, and then he throws the fucking spear.
I hate this part, bro.
Okay, so Herm says that fucking statue of Arale is $1,100 American.
Sounds about right.
Damn, it's quality though. It's quality. Davion Johnson, you are right. That is correct. So he picks up fucking. He takes Bora, shoves him up in the air. Here, take your spear back, and just lunges the spear, and bam, fucking takes him out. Very violent. I mean, you see right there he and then he falls, and the spear breaks, and Upa has to witness his own father dying in front of him. I feel like at this point in the series, even though later on, obviously, death becomes almost a joke, at this point, I thought it actually mattered. And that's a pretty gruesome scene right there. No comments?
Yeah, it is very gruesome. I was reading a chat. A
Do you want me
question
to
for
highlight
Drew.
one?
Is Bora's
I'll highlight
death
it.
scene a reference to the confrontation between Sun Wukong and Tang Song Zhang? So the confrontation that you're talking about between the two did not take place in the actual novel. It's something that's it's like a rehashed version of what Journey to the West is. It's very common in like movies and stuff like that Sun Wukong will kill one of Tan San Zhang's loved ones, but that's not where Toriyama is getting this at all.
I didn't know that. Yeah, there you go. Now, after Bora's death, Goku's like, fuck you, and goes right after him because his anger takes over. But Tao Pai Pai is the more experienced martial artist, and this is a famous scene in the manga, but look how awesome this scene is. Look how awesome this panel is, bro. He knocked him out of the panel. Knocks Goku into Karin Tower and knocks him out. Done already? That was too quick.
Yeah, so this is what I love about Tao Pai Pai is he's the first villain who's introduced that it really seems like Goku has absolutely no chance. Now they do set up how Goku can have a chance by going up the tower and drinking the sacred water, but you know, still.
Yeah, somebody asked, was this the first time we saw someone using a ki-based attack other than Roshi and Goku with Tao? Because we're about to see one, but is it the first time? I guess what Blue does is Shamari Henderson, SSJ Goku's speech to Frieza was so bad, so you're right. Well, that's one example of talk about the dub. That's one example of a bad dub line. Horrible.
Yeah.
Justin Sullivan said the way Tao threw the spear at Bora was like he was performing for the Olympics. He's talking about the javelin. Is that what it's called? The javelin?
Yeah, the spear, yeah.
Is anybody going to watch the Olympics, bro? Because it's coming up. I only watch like the wrestling and the karate shit. I don't really, and basketball. That's about it.
The reason I don't like seeing Bora get killed is because he is obviously a really good dad and his son like looks up to him like a lot. And I can't stand the idea of like a kid like innocently losing his father that he looks up to. Like, I just hate that. I mean, it does set up a pretty good, reason for Goku to do everything he does moving forward in the story. But it's so sad. It just hits me so hard because I have a son and I can't imagine his reaction if he lost me. It's just sad.
And it's the first death, bro, that like of a character that we're supposed to care about. Granted, I don't know if everybody cared about him, but I mean, it was meant to be fucked up and to put heat on Tao.
I think the father-son thing really helps create an impact.
Yeah, Upa's like pain. You know?
So
Goku fires the Kamehameha and Tao eats it, but he loses his clothing, bro. But here's this counter, bro, Dodonpa. Now, if you are wondering, because I'm sure I'm going to get this question, if not, if you want to learn more about the Dodonpa, I do have a video. It's actually the first video that Heish ever edited for me. And he did it like 2 years ago, and I never uploaded it because I'm waiting. So I have a video called Frieza's Death Beam Explained. Now, the Dodonpa is very similar to the Death Beam. Here's the issue. If I make a video called Tao's Dodonpa Explained, that won't even break 10,000 views. But if I make one about Frieza's Death Beam and then discuss the Dodonpa in the video, you will get the education of both techniques because they're interesting.
Yeah.
So that video has been done for 2 years now. and still has not gone up because I'm waiting for Black Frieza in the manga, and I've been waiting forever. Remember, we saw Black Frieza August of 2022, and now we're about to hit August of 2024, and we don't have nothing else. It's kind of bullshit, but whatever.
It is. I agree with you.
It's kind of bullshit. Like, it pisses me off. Dodonpa. I know what you meant, Shamar. So he fires the blast at Goku. Goku looks to be damn near dead, falls down. My job is finished. Are those Dragon Ball things for? Oh, wait, we do have one more chapter. I forgot about this one. This is going long, bro. We're going to wrap it up. So Goku appears to be dead. The greatest assassin in the world, Tao Pai Pai, came and killed Appa's father and Goku after being contracted by the Red Ribbon Army. Not only that, but he stole all 4 Dragon Balls. So Goku just got the fucking balls back, and now Tao Pai Pai took him, takes his pillar, he dips. As of right now, the villains have won.
Yeah.
This is classic, like... This is Tao Pai Pai drew a picture of himself to give to this tailor to make new clothes. This stuff I thought for a long time was anime only filler, but it's not. However, there's a ton of great filler there. Diddley Squaw says, in a sense, Frieza's a glorified Tao Pai Pai. I disagree with you. Frieza's more like a spoiled royal piece of shit and not an assassin. He kills for fun. This guy kills for money. I think he's having fun too, but it's different. So he needs that outfit made in 3 days. There's actually a lot of comedy in the manga or in the anime for this. He's contacting Red and them and telling what's going on. And then Appa's blaming himself for his father dying. He's about to bury Goku, but Goku is not dead. He's still alive. The 4-star Dragon Ball in his chest saved him. I love it. The Dragon Ball took the blast for Goku. Let's not talk about the Bardock wish because I fucking hate it.
The Bardock wish is totally fine. I've explained this to you multiple times.
Yeah, totally but I disagree with you. I hate it. Like, we don't have to fight over it. I just don't like it. I think it's retarded.
It's totally fine. Literally, all the wish did was put Goku in Grandpa Gohan's arms. That's it. This has absolutely nothing to do with that wish. Absolutely nothing to do with it.
But I'm saying people are going to bring it up, bro, and I don't want to hear it because I fucking
I understand. It just has absolutely. I'm nipping it in the bud right now. This has absolutely nothing to do with that wish. Anybody who has read that arc in detail can clearly tell that that arc is highlighting the effect that Grandpa Gohan had on Goku. That's the entire reason at the end of that arc that Granola acknowledges the effect that his grandfather was supposed to have on him the entire time. The entire thing is centered around how Grandpa Gohan affected Goku and how that affects Goku's destiny and his fate and who he is. Even this 4-star ball scene right here is in reference to the effect that Grandpa Gohan had on Goku. So
I mean, I'm not disagreeing as far as the explanation goes, but I'm just saying that in my opinion, that Bardock chapter or whatever from Super is the worst thing that they ever did in the manga. Like, I hate it.
I just disagree, but it's okay. We don't have
No, it's okay. I hate it. Like, I despise it. I don't like it. And remember, we were supposed to believe that Bardock had like a secret technique or something to beat Gas, and he just like I didn't like that. So now here to your point, you're right. I was saved by Grandpa. It's kind of a superstitious thing because it's not literally his grandfather, but to him that ball like represents him.
Well, Goku's grandfather is the reason that every time Goku is in a situation where he could do something that he would dearly pay the price for, he doesn't do it. Like, every good decision that Goku makes is due to the fact that he was raised by Grandpa Gohan, and every time Goku makes a good decision, he reaps the benefits for it. So that's more so what Grandpa Gohan's effect on Goku is about than anything else.
Now, here's a line right here. I want to talk about this. So Goku says, Yosh, I'm going to gather up all the Dragon Balls and wish for your dad to come back to life. Remember, though,
he's selfless.
Goku's selfish. He only cares about himself. He went to the afterlife on purpose to get away from his wife and kid. It really makes me wonder how much brain rot is in this fandom, bro. I think people have like mad cow, bro.
They do.
Something. Goku being selfish when he just said that, like... So now Goku has a new mission. He's got to get stronger to beat Tao Pai Pai. And so what he's gonna try to do, right here, he's talking about like, I didn't even scratch this fucking guy. Tao Pai Pai was more vicious than Roshi was in their battle in the tournament. So Upa suggests that they climb Karin Tower, which we already went over. I love the music in the anime where it like pans up slowly from here. You know, you do what I'm talking about, that scene?
Yes, I do know. Yeah. They really flex their animation with that scene.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. And then Goku remembers he's got one more ball, so Tao will be back. So because he's got the last ball, he knows that Tao is coming back, bro. And then up goes Goku climbing the tower. That's kind of the story here. That's kind of the whole chapter is him climbing the tower, getting tired because it's a long way up. And then he thinks he made it here, and he did. Oh, shit, we have another chapter. I really thought we were done after this, bro, but I forgot how long this volume is. The Sage of Karin Tower. Now, I've already discussed Karin earlier in the stream, so I don't know if there's any point. Do you have anything to add?
If we get to this stuff right here where he looks into the individual pots,
right?
There is some like cool symbolism here because it's essentially Goku facing himself, whether he realizes it or not. And a lot of his trials are centered around Goku facing himself. But yeah, it's a lot of stereotypical like Chinese mysticism thrown into how Karin interacts with Goku and like the trials that he puts him through and stuff.
What about the fact that the tower looks like Cloud City? That was done on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Bespin and Empire Strikes Back, Cloud City. I actually really like how it looks on the inside. Granted, those little holes, if you trip and fall, you're fucked. Maybe not in Dragon Ball, but I do love the design and like it looks like something right out of a JRPG. It really does. There's the magical water, and there's Karin. This is their first meeting right here. Who's a demigod. And we talked about him earlier. There's not really much there. I'm the Seneko Sama, the Supreme Holy Water. Now, he talks about Karin knows what's up because he's watching everything from up there.
Yeah, he's like a guard. He's like the guardian of Earth in that way that he can like kind of look over everything.
This stuff right here, dude, is so like kung fu movie shit.
Yeah, it's kung fu movie shit. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It also kind of reminds me of like of the trial from Aladdin where you're not supposed to touch anything else in the cave. You know,
the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Cave of Wonders too.
The Cave of Wonders. I gotta watch that movie again. So the story here is that Karin has the magical water, and Goku is trying to get it from him while he because Karin is faster. Now, what I love about this is that it turns out to be a big twist because we find out that the water isn't even what gave Goku his power. This little exercise here is literally training to make Goku faster and stronger. Karin is stronger than Goku at this point. Like I say, he's a demigod. Goku had not yet surpassed the god. That was later. So Goku trying to get the water from him and Karin just dodging it's sort of like an exercise.
Yeah, it's training.
That is, huh?
Yeah, it's training.
But it's right out of fucking Jackie Chan shit, bro, where you're training without realizing you're training.
In disguise. It's training in disguise. That's classic kung fu tropes.
Training in disguise. Is there any of that in Journey to the West that you remember?
Yes. Part of what
There's Cloud City.
Part of what Subhuiti teaches Sun Wukong is code. Like he's teaching him stuff in code. It's just like basic Chinese mysticism. It's a trope. Yeah, for sure.
Right, the trope. All right, down to the next one here. Let's see. No, you aren't the first person. There's one other person who's climbed up. And guess who it is? It's fucking Master Roshi. And it took him 3 years to get the water.
And Master Roshi being the one to climb the tower is actually extremely important because it's, again, symbolic of attaining enlightenment and all that good stuff. Like, all of this, Tao Pai Pai's connection to Roshi here is something that people don't talk about. Okay. So
go for it.
So Tao Pai Pai is, in a sense, anti Grandpa Gohan, but also anti-Master Roshi. He
He's the
uses,
antithesis.
yeah, he teaches and perpetuates the exact opposite teachings that Roshi himself encourages. And even later on, we find out that Shenhan, became who he was due to the fact that he was raised by Tao Pai Pai. And if you'll notice, whenever we see Grandpa Goku later on in the series, or Grandpa Gohan later on in the series, he is wearing a gi that is very, very similar to what Tao Pai Pai is wearing here. And that is because Tao Pai Pai is essentially being treated as like an anti-Roshi or an anti-Grandpa Gohan, the antithesis of the teachings that Goku himself was ingrained with as a child and later on through Master Roshi. So,
yes. And then here Goku reacts. You mean Grandpa Kame-Sennin was here a long time ago and drank the mysterious water and became stronger? Yeah. You ain't the first one. Chapter 89. Now, again, I actually genuinely like that art of Goku flexing like that. I think it's dope. Oh, wait, hold on. It says here, Son Goku has climbed the top of Karin Tower in search of the water that's said to increase one's strength exponentially if quaffed. That's a word. However, in order to get his hands on the supreme holy water, he must first steal it from the Sennin Korin-sama. Truth is be told, it was confirmed that the strength of Kame-Sennin himself came from drinking the super holy water, a feat which took him 3 years to achieve. Now Goku is, well, there you go. So, Karin's like, I wonder how long it's going to take you. And then, of course, once again, here we have Goku moving quickly, moving his whole body. It's all done to train him. It's a different form of training. Karin's just fucking with him at this point, just straight up like clowning his ass, beating him in the head. Goku tries the Zanzo Ken. He says, I use the Zanzo Ken counter. Then he says, this kid ain't half bad. This is the first time I've seen that many Zanzo Kens at once. I'm excited to see what he can do. So already it's like people acknowledging Goku as being a prodigy, which is a thing we see even Beerus fucking did it all the way in 2013, decades after this was written.
Another cat, ironically.
And I think they're both based on cats that Toriyama had as pets, the two different cats, right?
Yep.
So much of DB is for real in some way stuff. I mean, there's a lot, it's based on a lot of things, a lot of culture. So Goku is let me go up a little bit.
He's done with his training.
Right. In the anime it took longer. Go ahead, you were saying?
Essentially, the journey up the tower and the experience with the Sennin that he runs into is essentially what made him stronger, not the water itself. And that's the reason that Tao Pai Pai, unlike Roshi and Goku, fails to pass the test because he just wants instant gratification. He has the exact opposite mentality of an actual martial artist, despite the fact that he's so powerful. He uses those techniques and that teachings for the wrong ideology and the wrong things in general. So
it's like the dark side, bro.
It is the dark side. That is what it is.
It's like that, yeah. And in a way, like we talked about this before, you and I, but the Force and Ki are Lucas based a lot of his Star Wars lore on Taoism, ancient China, and so like the Force is basically Ki.
It is.
Yeah. The idea that energy is everywhere. Oh wait, never mind. It's not Ki anymore. It's the thread. According to Acolyte, bro, which is airing tonight, bro. And I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna be happy. Well, maybe it'll be good, but probably not. So Goku comes back up, tired as fuck, almost got the water at night because he's not done yet, and then he didn't get it at night. This goes on for a while, actually. And here we have more of Goku trying to get the water multiple times. And again, Karin is just fucking with him at this point.
Yeah.
And then he got it. He got it, bro. And Goku uses his tail to hang on to the side. There you go. All right. Is Tao stronger than Shen or weaker? First of all, his name is not Shen. His name is Crane Hermit. The reason why I'm saying that is not to be an anime snob. It's because once again, Barry Watson fucked up and named him Shen when there was another character in the next tournament named Shen. But because he was fucking stupid and did no research, He just created a name out of nowhere. His name is not Shen. It's Crane Hermit. Roshi, I believe, is stronger. What do you think?
Yeah, Roshi's definitely stronger.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. He says it's Tao stronger than Shen or Crane Hermit.
We never really get to see the Crane Hermit do anything that would suggest that he's stronger than Tao Pai Pai. So I would say Tao Pai Pai is stronger.
But the Crane Hermit knows how to fly.
Yep, that's true.
So that is an advantage. Yeah, I just, whenever I see somebody refer to him as Shen, it pisses me off. Not because it's censorship like Hercule, but because this motherfucker, Barry Watson, dubbed a show without doing 1 ounce of research. And if he did do 1 ounce of research, he would have known there's already a character named Shen and not called him Shen. Yeah. These fucking people sucked, bro. That's what I'm saying. Oh, the dub was good. No, it's not. Objectively, it's not, bro. It's horrible. It's actually a big reason as to why, like, I get into battles with people, bro, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about because all I saw was the dub.
Well,
it sucks, but
Xavier the God says it seems like Tao was the one who trained Tien more than the Crane Hermit. It's a very similar thing.
He definitely admires him, that's for sure.
It's a very similar thing to Grandpa Gohan and Roshi. People don't understand how connected these two characters are. Roshi was Grandpa Gohan's master.
Yep.
And Roshi is just an extension of what Grandpa Gohan ingrained into Goku's nature. And Tao, he caught Tien Shinhan at a very young age, and he essentially is responsible for who Tien is by nature. Not necessarily his teachings per se, but who he actually is as a person. He's responsible for in that way. And then the Crane Hermit perpetuates those teachings and encourages them. So it's a very similar thing to the relationship between Grandpa Gohan and Roshi as well.
Yes, and they both have their pros and cons. I do wish that we saw more of him.
Yeah.
You know? Hugo says, the Crane Hermit never died. I wonder if Toriyama planned to do something with him later after the Piccolo Jr. tournament. I wish. I know Toriyama was asked about it, and he said they're probably still around, him and Tao. But technically, he did die, but it was much later. Remember, Majin Buu blew up the Earth. Everybody died who was on the Earth. And prior to that, Super Buu did the genocide move from the heavenly realm and killed everybody. Presumably also. Yeah. So that counts, even though it was much later.
Yeah.
So Goku now has the power. See, I didn't trick you at all. The power has already been increased exponentially. And that was, of course, from all the exercising we saw. This is the last page, actually. Goku's happy. Go to the lower world and test it out, the fruits of your training. You sure are a happy guy. Bye-bye. Still, though, this boy, I'm pretty sure he's already far surpassed Master Roshi. That's a very interesting line right there because that is foreshadowing. Remember, Roshi was the measuring stick. He beat Goku in the first tournament. So if Roshi surpassed him, there you go.
Yep.
So that is where we ended. Page 165 of this was a long volume, bro. I expected we went overtime here, but I had a good time. So next time we come back, it should be either next week or the week after.
It'll probably be the week after. Just to give everybody a heads up.
Well, why? You think you might be busy on Tuesday?
We'll see.
All right. I mean, I want to be careful because I don't want to do one too close to San Diego Comic-Con because I may have content coming out that week, depending on what we get. So I don't know yet, but it's not over. We got volume 8. We're doing all 42 volumes. So this series is probably going to go into next year. I think we'll be done next year, though.
Yeah.
I can't imagine not, Yeah, it's a very long volume, bro. It's got how many chapters did we do? Let me go back to the beginning. Hold on. What is it? Home? Okay. Part 2. Oh, it doesn't have the page numbers. So it's chapter 79 to what? What's the last one we did? It's hold on. Chapter 79 to 89, 10 chapters. That is pretty big.
Yeah.
And remember, Toriyama was doing these motherfuckers weekly, bro. Anyways, y'all, thanks for stopping by. Jordan, as always, I had a good time with you. And we'll be back for volume 8. And that is Goku's rematch with Tao Pai Pai, which will eventually lead to him attacking Red Ribbon. So I think we'll be done with Red Ribbon by volume 9, I think.
Yeah.
And then we move on to the Baba tournament and then the Piccolo arc. So it is going by pretty quickly, actually.
Yep.
And then we get to Z. No, 23rd tournament, then Z.
Who you think is stronger, TN or Krillin?
He wrote 10, and that was funny. Well, when? What part of the series? Beginning, middle, or end?
If you mean it during this part of the series, TN far surpasses Krillin.
Far surpasses him.
But if you mean in like the Tournament of Power era, the last time we really saw those characters fight, other than in the Super Manga later on in the Moro arc, I would say that Krillin is suggested to be stronger during that era because there was a creator who was interviewed prior to the Tournament of Power started. One of the people who worked on the anime was interviewed and said that, in his opinion, Krillin was the strongest. So take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt, but I would say Krillin's probably stronger in the modern era.
I think at this point he is, but for a long time it was tension on, like for a long time. All right, that's it. Justin Sullivan's last super chat. Barry Watson, more like Barry, what was he thinking? Yeah, I know, bro. He is one of the guys that is solely responsible for the dub being horrible. Not the only guy. I can't say solely, but one of the ones. Nicholas Henry, do you think Goku will surpass Vegeta and Daima? That's not what Daima's really about, bro. And we don't even know, like, you're asking that question. We don't even have a single, like, we don't even know how strong they are at that point because we haven't got all the information yet. So that question can't be answered yet.
Right.
We'll see.
It was great to see you guys. I had a lot of fun on the stream. We got to get out of here, but we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye. No, wait. I fucked up. I almost hit the wrong button, bro. I almost left the studio, but I want to. All right, now have a good one. I almost hit the wrong button there. Okay, wait. Is it? Hold on. Is this over?
No, it's still live, bro.
I'm trying to